Alright, looks like we are live and good to go, gentlemen. So, I'm going to go to the summary page here, and I'm going to give a quick summarization of what you guys did last time. So, last episode of Drama de El Smexo. The party revealed the secret of the ruins to be a temple of the goddess Ova. She was rumored to be the creator of all the planes, the mother of the gods, and source of all magic in the world. The party also awakened a young priest from his stony slumber, who revealed that agents of the IAU were responsible for his congregation's demise and subsequent slaughter. And that's the quick TLDR of the last episode. So moving back over here, you guys were in the process of possibly taking separate routes. If I remember correctly, Oust was planning on maybe like taking a look at the runes a bit more. I also remember Morgak expressing interest into Cedric's past. He left me a list of questions that his character was going to ask the person. So I think I'm going to just start there, just kind of let him learn, or you guys learn a little bit more information as to what happened. So Morgak starts with asking Cedric why he was turned into stone. So Cedric basically explains that the head priest, whose journal you guys have, feared that the agents or whoever was laying waste to all of the temples of Ova were going to be there very shortly. So he didn't have much time to evacuate everybody from the entire temple. So what he ended up doing was he had procured a set of scrolls that could preserve the victim in stone and make it look like they were just an inanimate object. He had enough for Cedric, his wife, him, and himself. But he was only able to use 3 of the scrolls on his wife, his child, and Cedric before they were overrun by the assailants, or the people who were laying waste to the temple. So he didn't have enough time to cast it on himself, so he fled back into the church to try and fend off the remaining assailants, to allow them to just like have some time to get settled in their forms. So that's basically how that happened. The chapel was under attack, and Cedric is adamant that the people who attacked the temple were agents of the IAU, or essentially the group that Awin and Store are employed by. And Morgak's last question was, who turned you into stone? Again, the head priest turned them all into stone to protect them. So when the bad guy showed up and started burning everything down, the odds of them smashing some like random statues were fairly slim. Unfortunately, a lot of the scrolls that were used to preserve some of the other congregation over time have been broken to pieces or dilapidated beyond repair. So like I said, when you guys first went into the garden, some are missing arms, limbs, heads, all that sort of thing. So it is presumed that a majority of those statues were also human at one point, but they are so dilapidated that even if you did bring them back, they would not have survived the process. So that's all the questions that Morgak's character had.
And I was investing time into reading that book I had found.
Correct, yes.
Yep.
Okay. Sam, was there anything that you were thinking about doing more in these ruins?
Well, not really. I think I did like the most of stuff I wanted to do. I packed up all of those fruits, and I think maybe I wanted to ask Oust Prime, but I would need to wait for
Yeah.
Ruben
What
to return.
doth thou wish to ask?
Oh, he's back. There you
Oh,
go. That was quick.
Speak thine questions.
And thou shalt be answered. Does the Oust Paladin has the ritual for summoning Spectral Steed? You know, ritual, not the spell.
Let me check. I do believe I have that one listed, yes.
Can he, like, transcribe it for us so I can,
Yeah, you
summon
can get a
steed?
copy of it. Sure.
Yeah, but if Smexy can...
Yes, he does have Phantom Steed. He has Find Familiar and Phantom Steed.
Oh, sweet.
So you can just take that.
Okay. So, Big Boss Max, can I add that to my spellbook?
Is it a ritual cast book?
Yeah.
That should be a problem. Yeah.
Okay. So, I'll be adding that, and, yeah, while we're traveling, I'll be using it.
Good deal.
Okay.
Nice.
Now, if I remember correctly, the Paladin Morgak and Paladin Oust were planning on exploring the ruins a little bit more, and the rest of the party was going to go forward.
How it was gonna go was we were gonna help him give the last rites to the person, maybe ask a little bit more on the religion,
Okay.
and then we'd get back to the people via horseback, because we'd move at twice their standard speed.
All right, sure. So, Perrin, I'm assuming like you're fine with just like going ahead with the majority of the party and just making your way to Kagrim.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So we'll assume that you and the rest of the party have left already, and Sir Oust and Peacebringer Morgak have stayed with Cedric to do the ceremonial burying rites. We'll assume this takes maybe about an hour. With your guys' help, it doesn't take that long because there's not a whole lot of bodies to bury. And he does the religious rites of his covenant. Are there any things you want to ask him, Oust?
Just general stuff on his religion, more just, questions about what were the tenets of your goddess, so on and so forth.
To save time, we'll say that you guys start having that conversation as you're making your way to the rest of the party.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just presume that conversation does happen, and then we can go over the minute details another time.
Yeah, it should take another, it'd take us, an hour to catch up to the party, in addition to the time that they spent.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
So.
So Perrin, I'm going to say that you are currently leading the group through the path that you had previously taken to get to where you were before.
Okay.
You
And
know...
then I've got,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I'm saying I have the owl up and ahead at its max range for me, just scouting, looking for anything funky.
Okay, sure.
Good.
So we're going to say that you enter into a sort of like large crevasse or like crack in the side of a stone wall that's sort of like inlaid into the mountain. This is kind of like a back door to the drow city of Malvorem, which you had kind of like snuck through. With your roll of 24 in stealth, you don't notice any like, we'll say, underground or undercommon entities or evil creatures that would try and attack you or anything. So you managed to avoid that sort of like issue. So we'll go over to here. So as you're traveling, I also want to make sure that this is good to go too. Okay.
So I'd like to try to invoke my legendary horse.
Okay.
Hey Lothar, how do I summon this thing? I mean, what's his name?
Oh, off the top of my head, I can't remember the name you specifically gave to your horse, but
It's Yabuchilo.
there's
Yep, he got it.
Huchilo?
Yabuchilo.
Yabuchilo.
Yep.
Legendary circus horse.
Oh my god. Oh right, because the trotting and the bouncing the ball and the yeah.
Yeah.
I missed that episode. It's
That
just
nat
sad to
20
take it
performance check.
Yeah.
Okay.
What a horse.
So we'll say that, Perrin, you make your way through the broken stone wall, and you approach the rear gate of the Drow City. Now, the back gate is in complete disarray. It's smashed inward. There are splinters, wooden splinters, and blood strewn about the cobblestone ground in front of the gate, and you notice broken arrows can be seen scattered throughout the palisades. Closer to the gate, you notice that there are hunks of gore and white hair embedded into the wooden palisades.
I'll use an investigate to see if I can find anything else in the area.
Okay. I'll save you the roll and just go into a little bit more detail. So, are you entering past the gate, or are you staying outside the gate for now?
First I'm looking for traps and other devious stuff around the gate,
Okay.
seeing if this is some sort of false ruse or something to try to lure people in.
So, yeah, in that case, roll for investigation. See if you notice anything out of the ordinary outside of this. So from your roll, you don't notice any actual physical traps or even possible magical wards or anything at the moment. It seems pretty clear. You don't hear any noise coming from past the gate either. It's completely dead quiet.
Okay. What kind of tracks are coming through the gate?
So because it's cobblestone, there isn't really any discernible tracks that you notice outside of maybe a couple large looking bare footprints, maybe about 10 foot in diameter, making their way towards the main gate but stopping just short of it.
I relay back to what I'm seeing to everybody in the party. You guys want me to scout ahead? Well, I'll send the owl up to see if he can see anything before I have to commit myself.
Okay. So you're gonna send your owl up. Is it going past the gate then?
Yes.
Okay. So as your owl enters past the gate, all it hears is the howling wind through the cavernous underground. You see dried blood and gore everywhere on the ground, amongst the buildings, on the floors. There are drag marks in several different areas. It just looks like it was complete just catastrophe. Something just went through this entire city like a swath of death and just laid waste to everything. Smashed windows and doors in every single building almost.
Okay.
Well, this ain't good.
I call the owl
Beautiful.
and I pearl it. I said it's a complete slaughter in there. Mayhem. Blood everywhere.
And are there
I didn't
any
see
noticeable
anything
people,
living.
persons at all?
I didn't see anything living, just a lot of blood.
Could be the undead hiding among the bodies, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Not like we have
So,
any
yeah.
other options right now.
Do any of you types have the ability to sense undead?
The paladin
Have the
versions, I think?
paladins caught up by now?
Not yet. No.
The moment they hit 2 hours into their journey is when we would have caught up. So, not quite yet.
You're still playing.
Sir
catch up.
Oust, no. Well, Sir Oust would. Normal Oust does not. If Lothar could, maybe, but...
You'd have to conjure him somehow.
Yeah. And, even then. Because I think that's the whole deal of sense good and evil or whatever that paladin trait is. Divine sense? Yeah, that's the one.
Yep.
So
60-foot range. You can do this equal to 1 plus your charisma mod.
So we'll say at the moment, this is what you see as you enter in the area here.
Oh. Oh, that's bad, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna be mounted so far.
Phantom Steed? Phantom Steed isn't the same as Conjure Horse or whatever it is, Fine Steed. It only lasts for an hour.
Yeah, I know, but since it's a ritual, it uses no spell slots, so I can repeatedly resummon him.
Fair, but whatever. It's fine.
Yeah.
Convenient for traveling.
Boop, boop. Oh, we're switching from the peaceful music to...
Oh, we're
So, let's be-
we're skipping to the spooky music now.
Skooks.
Spooky music.
Alright. Make sure my health matches my health. Yes, we are good to go. Okay. Right then.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Cool.
Wendigo.
Wendigo. No, that would be bad.
Yeah, we'd probably die. That's fine though.
All right. So who's going first?
I think we initiative to figure that out.
Well, not initiative. Like you guys decide. You're not in combat or anything.
Yeah, just a lot of the ways I've seen people decide how these sort of situations goes, make initiative rolls, and then however it's ranked is the order that people make their moves around the area.
Yeah.
I'm fine with just probably our scout going ahead and scouting.
Yeah, you guys can wing it. I don't need to go into great detail on like initiative and all that junk.
Probably let Baron go ahead and scout out the area with Nimrod.
Will do.
Okay.
Can we try to identify how old the blood is? If it's still fresh or
Oh my god.
You can.
we gotta see.
Oh, your method of doing that will make this a very disturbing sight.
Well, no, that's only for magic. This is normal investigation.
Oh, that kind of identify.
I was also going to say that you do have Store and you do have Janine with you guys. I'm sure they are both well versed in the art of like investigation and trying to discern the age of certain, I guess, crime scenes, you could say. Which
Now,
this...
kindly ask them to do so.
Okay. So Store kind of pushes his way past the rest of the group, and he goes to reach for the nearest blood splatter that's in front of you, but something appears before you guys, like right in front of your faces. It's the form of a drow woman. And it kind of just like
Hand immediately goes to
fades
weapon.
into existence. And it kind of is like it's very transparent, but you can see the form of the individual, and then it comes in more into your sight, and you realize it's actually the drow matriarch, Nizana Deval.
Oh.
And she is speaking something that almost none of you can understand, I believe, with the exception of Perrin and Alwyn.
I
Perrin,
do remember Alwyn saying she was going to stay back with the paladins, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she did.
I'll presume that she's not with you guys in that case, but
Yep, so Perrin.
So Perrin, I presume you did say that you knew Thieves' Cant, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so Nizana is speaking in Thieves' Cant. She's not speaking in Undercommon, which is kind of peculiar. You're not entirely sure why or how she knows it, but more or less what she is saying. Let me just go to my notes here. Okay, so she's speaking in Thieves' Cant, explaining that they have fled the city to escape Dagon Vor and his undead army, and that any surviving drow should make their way to Kagrum, and that message just keeps repeating for about, we'll say, maybe like a minute or two before it just fades out.
Hmm.
No, it's a good thing that Alwyn's with the other group, because when they catch up, they'll hear it too. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, I'm assuming she wasn't speaking in tongues. Did any of you understand that?
Yes, I did. And I will translate.
Okay.
Well, at least they're not all dead. No sense to stop moving. And I guess people need to roll investigation to see how old the blood is, or whatever.
I'm gonna presume that Store's well versed enough to be like, okay, that was weird. Anywho, back to this.
Well, it's cranberry sauce. We're fine, guys.
It is blood. And not only can he tell that the blood is drow, but he can also tell how old it is. It's about, he would say, a day or two old. So it's still sticky.
Dear.
It's still sticky to the touch.
Oh, there's flies. Oh.
Gross.
Well, folks, we've seen worse things in those swamps, so nasty, but still.
Yeah.
So, what can we scavenge from this wretched city?
I think it's less about scavenge and more about us making our way through. No sense to stop.
Well, one is included in the other.
Fair enough.
If you ever come across something pretty, why not take a look, right?
Yeah. So, what store can we first raid? That is not raid, probably. What is difficult to carry but still useful?
Turns to look at Morgak.
Morgat just looks like shifty eyes. Is like, what? I'm not a mule. You carry it this time. These stone statues are heavy.
But aren't you like the expert of pillaging and looting?
Yeah, that's what
finding
we're
any
referencing
fingers.
here.
Hey, I resemble that remark.
I've got a bit of experience in that avenue, too.
Yeah,
Well,
shame no one's not here. We'd have a whole trio.
Experts.
Well, actually, we do have Janine here, so I suppose we do have a trio. Meh.
Well, actually, she is worth of a 5.
I guess.
So Morgak just says, is like, we don't really have to do much. All the doors are already open.
May as well just keep moving, see what we can see, and take what we think is valuable to us.
We need
While
to
we
keep
move.
our eyes out. Obviously, there was some sort of undead slaughter going on in here, so we don't
Speaking
want to
of
get ambushed.
prevalent smell of rotten flesh and decay,
Well,
Yes, no?
the blood and the gore definitely aren't helping your stomach right now. Rot and decay? Not that you can tell. There doesn't seem to
By the way,
be much of
Smith,
any of
how
that.
long did we travel?
How long have you traveled? Like from Dagon's lair to where you are
from
now?
the chapel to here.
Chapel to here? I would say just a few hours, really. So maybe like...
wait, a few hours?
Yeah,
Oh, the paladins would have caught up long ago then.
yeah.
Like, they would be here.
Well, but we still like recently arrived, so
Yeah.
it might take them some time still.
Plus,
No, I mean, like, even if it was 2 hours, they would have caught up by now.
depends how good... Well, Peacebringer Morgak would be a decent tracker, I would think. So he'd be able to follow the trail that you guys left behind, just to catch up.
Yeah.
So
I'll give them a few more minutes.
We'll say
and then-
they could arrive at any moment now. We'll do that.
Fair enough. That works. Yeah. Okay. Well. Let's get moving.
All right. So which direction you want to guys? Are you gonna? I'm assuming all head in the same direction, or
I was splitting, going this way.
okay.
Oh, he's already moving.
All right. So you find that.
Okay, slow.
Okay. So you're going into this building. All right. So
Building.
this is
Small beds. This is an
two
orphanage.
beds. Yeah.
Orphanage, Grella the Kind.
I would,
Oh, what's in there?
in there? Okay. Let me
Yeah.
just quickly reveal that. So
Like some
this
Oh, farina. Oh, yes.
area, um, more like like all the weapons. So in here, you're going into this building. All right. So this is
Building.
two beds. Yeah.
Orphanage, Grella the Kind. Oh, what's in there?
So this area, this
Oh, yes.
Morgak-like.
Morgak like all the weapons. So in here, You find a wooden cart in a small arena. The ground is splattered in blood. Some of the weapons around the cart have been broken beyond repair, but outside that, there are a few weapons still in the cart intact.
It's a fighting ring.
Lothar, what kind of weapon you need?
Oh, you're channeling Lothar?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember him mentioning that he used his Y-hander when we were in the ethereal realm.
Yeah, but I no idea what that is. I suppose that's a big sword.
He
but...
raises a finger and then puts it down. I'm gonna history roll?
Yeah. If I remember correctly, yeah, we'll say that you do remember that basic
And is
information.
there one right there?
There is not, no. So,
Damn it!
what you see in the cart is the following: 3 javelins, a bundle of 20 iron arrows, a +2 damage bow, 3 leather vests, 2 short swords, 2 hand axes, and a long sword.
Yep,
From what
a
you
long
can
sword
tell, these are
and-
basic weapons. They're not magical in nature.
But you said there's a +2 bow?
Yeah, there's a plus. The bow is an artisan bow. We'll say it's better than the average bow when it comes to doing damage.
That's quite a lot better than average
Okay,
bow.
just +2 damage, not +2 to hit?
+2 damage. Yeah.
Okay, that is
fine.
different.
Yeah, it's not. These are basic weapons. It looks like this was sort of like a cache that they had like used for an emergency. And from when you can tell, it was probably pulled from like the corner section over here, because you see tracks leading towards the center of the arena.
There's something over there. There might be something over here. What's in here?
So in there is just what you can tell is like a storage system or storage area. Behind the metal gate are 2 benches where it looks they probably kept prisoners.
Fighting ring, indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And I assume
there-
Thrift Sam checks
And
out
then
the other
that
one.
is where the cart looks to be pulled from.
Nothing else. Alright.
Okay.
What was Perrin doing in the meantime while we were investigating?
I'm standing here in the shadows watching your backs.
Good deal.
I'm gonna grab the long sword. I think leather vest would not be useful. Yeah, I'll just grab the long sword.
Okay, you'll take the long sword.
Good deal.
Alright.
Nice. So, Morgak, do you need any javelins or axes?
Morgak, we'll say, took the javs. Just because he's like, wants to try something new. Why not?
Okay.
He's just like the pole
I'm
arm
looking
with
for
the
a bit of
pointy end. Is like,
variety.
yeah, it's like swinging axes are fun and all, but stabbing would be nice. And you just kind of like swing it in the air, haphazardly.
Sticks and stones break bones, but hand axes and javelins enrage me? What is that how it
Yeah.
goes?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
And then come on.
So as you guys are rummaging through this cart of weaponry, your remaining party shows up.
I'm on a horse.
I'm on a horse. And I will also include Cedric and 80085 in that grouping as well.
Ah,
Because, of course, he would be following you guys, too.
joy. Throw Alwyn down as well.
Yeah.
And
Goodness, this is going to be
I'm gonna find
crowded.
it.
I mean, when Alwyn shows up, I'll give her
Fair enough.
thing. But for now, just to keep things, like, simple for me, I'm just going to be like, we're assuming the rest of the group has shown up, you know. So everybody's back together. Cedric kind of, like, walks through here, just kind of, like, apprehensive, and is like, where are we?
Does the message start up again?
No, it does not. It looks like that
Okay.
one trigger that you did triggered it. Whatever it was.
Oh, this looks like the Drow City, and that's bad, given. You know,
Yep, it seems they're all dead. We're scavenging what we can.
Wait, they're all dead.
Well, most probably.
So, Morgak walks up to Cedric and hands him one of the javelins. Is like, "Here, you're gonna probably need this." It's like, and Cedric just kind of looks at him quizzically. He's like, "I don't know how to fight." He's like, Morgak's like, "Trust me, you're gonna learn quick." So Cedric takes one of the
Better that you
javelins.
have nothing than you have. Better that you have something than you have nothing at all.
And
in
if
this.
you don't learn, you're going to die. So you're either going to become an expert or
Ever the optimist.
So, hey Sam, that building that you're looking into at the moment, you notice that it is, the windows have been broken in, and it looks to be a shop, and you look through the broken windows, and you see the shelves are half filled with small broken bottles. There's like a sour smell that's kind of emanating from the shop as well. And the shelves themselves look like they are stained and burned as if something corrosive was poured onto it. And you also notice that on the countertop, there also looks to be some badly burned areas. And sitting on top of the countertop looks to be a small brass bell and two very smooth looking stones. And on the shelves, you do also see several potions and items that are still intact.
okay, can I check somehow if the air inside is corrosive or, poisonous? Something.
I would
We have a ner.
use the lamb. Do you say that out loud?
No.
No, okay.
I don't want to die.
Good idea. Just keep that to yourself. Let me just see what kind of roll you would make. So I don't know if it necessarily. Well, it might be investigation.
Oh, wait, it is.
Let's do nature actually, because you're trying to figure out if it's a poisonous substance that's emanating from that.
Nature, medicine, something.
Yeah. From what you can tell, the corrosive material, or the corrosive burns are emanating that particular smell. It looks like some of the potions got smashed in like a scuffle and tipped over. But outside of that, it's just the smell that's emanating. It's not poisonous in itself.
I'm gonna step inside and grab those potions.
So before you get a chance to step inside, two large disembodied hands appear before you in the doorway, and they both kind of like put up like a solid like nope, just like stop right there.
Excuse me, Mr. Undead Hands. If I may ask kindly for an allowance to enter in this place, as I suppose these things that are still inside will not be of use of you.
So one of the hands just makes like a little finger gun and points to some writing beside the wall on the shop.
Can I read it?
Do you know Undercommon?
He can read everything.
Oh, you can read everything. I forgot. Yeah. So in Undercommon, it says, "Foes don't proceed, only friends we be."
Okay, but I'm not a foe.
You're not a foe, no, but it's sort of like a riddle. Like you have to figure out how to get past them.
Give him a shake.
Well-
Their hands.
Yeah, right. We can do that.
So you hold out your hand.
Handshake. Yeah.
Okay. So you hold out your hand. One of the disembodied hands also reaches out, and you kind of grasp it. The grip feels very cold and chilling, but not overly like strong. It's like a firm handshake. So it shakes your hand, and then both hands just kind of dissipate into the ether.
Such a nice operation.
So
That
inside,
actually
yeah.
worked. Wow. Okay. I'm
All
not
right.
complaining.
So I'll get you to roll an investigation, and based on that investigation, I'll let you know what you find. But currently, what you see is there are a couple potions, all written in foreign language, Undercommon most likely. We're gonna take the 19. So,
What 90?
What 19?
oh, that's an Uber Ghost Sword? Oop, I looked at that. Oh, nat 20.
No, no, no.
Oh, sorry, I was
Yeah.
looking at that wrong. All right. You found all the nice ones, too. Okay. So, as you're kind of like rummaging through the shop, you might want to write some of these down, because I'm going to give you the names of them, but it's going to take you time later to identify what the hell these are, because you have no idea, really.
Potion
okay.
of hair growth.
So, the potions are
I
as
understand.
follows. Grave Dust.
Hold on, Smex. Hold on a second. I need to
Yeah.
get a paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the potions are as follows. Grave Dust,
Okay.
Tash's Tears,
Okay.
Potion of the Deputy, Cat's Grace,
Okay.
Potion of Clairvoyance,
Okay.
and this one's going to be a little hard to spell, so I'll spell it out. It's Antithesis, so Antithissis.
Antitif.
No, antithesis. Antithesis.
Antithesis.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's all the potions. The
Wonderful.
only things that you haven't touched yet are the 2 smooth stones on the countertop, as well as the small brass bell.
Ding ding.
Okay, so I suppose those are some magical stuff. I'm gonna pocket all those potions with the list, and I'm gonna go outside and call somebody who might be more skilled with those sort of things. Probably Morgak.
Oh, the
Honestly,
Arcanarch?
yes.
Yeah.
Or I was gonna, or Sir Morgak. Depends. It's potions. He's nature.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you pick one of the Morgax, and then he could probably help, but let me know which one you
Well, I probably need Morgak for arcane stuff, so regular Morgak.
Regular
Regular.
Morgak. Okay, so I'm going to pull up Morgak's character sheet, and I'm going to give him his advantage on arcane.
Okay.
And
Gotcha.
see if that works. He got an 18. Okay. So
He's a Morgak, what did you expect?
okay, which items do you want him to identify?
Yes.
Those smooth stones.
The smooth stones. So Morgak picks up both stones, tosses one to you. Give Sam.
It's a message.
And then he brings it up to his mouth. It's like, "Can you hear me?" And like in your head, there's this cacophonous, loud screaming, "Can you hear me?" And you're like, "Ah!"
Yes, I can.
It's like, "Oh, good, they work still." And he tosses you the other stone.
Beautiful.
So
And what about
standing?
Sending stones.
Yeah.
fancy?
Delicious. Wonderful,
And-
wonderful.
And this bell?
And the bell? Yep. What do you want to do with the bell?
I want to... Wait, is that the bell that usually stands on the counters of the stores?
You have no idea. It's a little brass bell.
Someone say something about magic. Someone need a hand here.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Boy, other me.
The other
Get
you.
in here.
Yeah.
Mr. Knight,
And-
sir. You might know the engineering stuff here.
Yeah, no. I'll have my other. Yes,
I'm
he'll
gonna
give
use
me a
guidance.
hand.
I'm gonna use guidance.
Guidance too, so advantage with guidance.
Oh my God.
This is going to go great. So, 13, I needed the guidance, since apparently I rolled a 3 as my highest.
Jesus.
And 15.
So
That's
15?
rough.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're pretty sure it's just like a regular bill. So you just pick it up and like go ding 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 ding, and then on the counter, you blink for a second. You're like, wait, what? A taco appears.
A taco?
Yes, a taco.
Hmm.
Bueno.
So
Pick up the taco, look at it, nod,
yeah.
enjoy
Muy bien.
yourself, and I hand him the bell. While walking away and chewing on the taco.
Roll a con save.
Oh dear. Oh wait, he's a paladin.
He'll be fine. Yeah, you're fine.
19.
You're fine. It's a
How's
very
the
delicious
taste?
taco. It's not stale at all. It's actually tastes quite fresh. It's got a little bit of guacamole on it, which you're not a huge fan of, but you're sucking it up. You're just like,
Man,
it's
gotta
passable.
love those Taco Bells.
Wonderful.
I actually talked about that with my DM friend. He's like, "That's an amazing idea. You have to do it." I'm like, "I'ma do it." So you
So
now
there
have
you
a
go.
taco. You now have a Taco Bell. Hip Sam, congratulations.
Beautiful.
You
A
can.
little bit too greasy for my liking, but it did well.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a food that we can get fast, so
Yeah.
you can say it's a fast food. Dunce.
Hilarious.
Laughter
Okay.
fading into crying. Okay. You mentioned something about you having potions, Rev Sam? I do have an herbalism kit, not sure if that. Herbalism kit proficiency?
right. Yeah, sorry. I found some of these, and I give him the list of all those potions that I found. You know?
Okay.
Oh.
If you
What do I
want,
need to roll?
I would say if you want to use an herbalism kit, I'll let you identify one of the potions right now.
Yeah, probably you should go for the anti one.
Yeah, antithesis.
And
16!
16? Okay. Let me just.
And it's probably gonna give me guidance, so.
Yeah.
20!
Oh, all right then. So
That could make all the difference.
antithesis. It's kind of. It's not technically a poison, but you look at the flask, and inside you see this oily mixture, and there are tiny little creatures. They look like what you would probably consider what do they call those? Sea anemones, but really, really small ones, and they're kind of like floating in the oil of it. So, from what you understand of this particular potion, is it's actually worth quite a lot of money. It's worth probably around between 1,000 to 1,300 gold, and it is a highly illegal substance. So if you were to ingest this, you would need to make a con save, or if you failed, you would be infected with these parasites. You're not entirely sure what the parasites do, you just know that this here is sort of like a poison.
But it has to be ingested.
Right.
It has to be ingested for sure. It's not like inhaled or anything. You have to drink it.
Well. Kind of fitting that you found it in the Underdark, I guess. It's a parasitic poison. It has to be ingested and, pretty illegal. And sells on, markets for, well, upwards of 1,000 gold.
Well, since the global economy is falling apart, I suppose we should keep this one
Probably.
as of now. And I don't think I have any idea how we can utilize it, but oh well. I'm pretty sure Owen can find a way.
Yeah,
She's
depending
an
on
expert
like
for-
what your rules are later on, you could probably give it another shot and maybe try and identify more of it. But that's the
Yeah.
gist.
I have more potions, so when your kid gets
I just need to give it a good cleaning. Give it me, like, I don't know, an hour, and I'll be able to test another one.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much
So-
just wait till the next short rest.
Yeah. Anything else in the area that
Roll
may
for
provoke some interest?
maybe investigation.
Oh.
Those are some nice rolls today.
Hey.
And
So
not in the tree.
I'm gonna say that you are kind of noticing some odd blood placements. It
Ooh,
looks
that's
like
a blood drift.
something was dragged up these stairs and walked
Deja
away
vu.
because these footprints are bloodied, but they're pointing in the opposite direction.
My dear
Detective
Watson.
Riv Sam is on the case again. He prestidigitates a pipe.
Definitely. Elementaries, my dear Oust.
Alright.
Onwards, shall we?
Rather quite. And reveal
Okay, so you
more tiles, please.
here. What are you doing right now, Perrin? Are you going to be following closely behind the rest of the group, or are you thinking about going in a different direction with some of these people?
I want to start scouting out over towards this way here.
Okay.
Good deal.
I will say that right now, like, this is sort of like a narrow alleyway. So that's basically all you can really see right now is that. It just kind of goes around that building.
Okay.
You would be able to fit through one at a time if you went person by person. Your owl would
I'll
be able to
send the
fly
owl
over.
down this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Send the owl down this way.
Okay. So we'll say you send the owl down this way, and it reveals this area here. Because you're not going in the building, I'm leaving that black.
What's
So your owl
I'm a
flies over,
Batman.
and you
Oh my
your owl
God, he's
notices a body lying in a pool of dried blood just past the bridge.
Oh my god, they killed Jerry.
Those
Roll
bastards.
for investigation for your owl to see if it notices any extra details.
okay? I need to pull up my owl's character one second. Where is it?
Elementaries, my dear Nimrod.
Hoot.
Hoot. Le hoot. It's a French owl.
I don't know why your familiar ended out being French. France isn't even a place in this world. It truly is lost.
It can be. Bum bum bum.
It's got
So 10? Okay.
plus on a perception, not the other one. 11.
Okay. So 10 plus what did you say?
1.
1?
11.
Okay, so
Yeah.
11. As your owl is flying overhead, it notices that there is also a sign on the bridge here, but it's too high up to actually read it. It's like right in the middle of the bridge, sort of like attached to the railing.
With an owl's vision, it's too high up to be able to see that.
Well, it would have to land, because right now at the angle it's at, it's not going to be able to read
It
it.
did have to make a sharp turn to get to where it is, so I guess that kind of makes sense.
All right, then I will come through up to here.
Okay.
Just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
And I will send out my mage hand with my mirror and have the owl read through the mirror.
Ah,
That's a neat trick. Okay. So, can you read Undercommon? I can't remember if you can or not.
No, I've got dwarf and elf, and thieves can't.
Okay, so
No,
it's written
Oust
in a
can,
language
but-
that you're not familiar with.
well, Sir Oust.
I'll send the owl back over here to get these guys' attention and bring them over to me.
Okay. So the owl, Oust, Tifsam, and other Oust, you see the owl fly over to you, perch on the corner of the building, and start hooting at you and flapping its wings.
Mr. Nimrod, sir, I suppose you seek attention.
And at that, he'll start flying away back over to where I'm at.
Well, I suppose that is, but I suppose we can find him backwards.
Yep.
Doo-doo-doo. Oh,
Okay.
he's here.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
you
is a
all-
tight alleyway. And just assume that Sir Oustas is familiar on his shoulder for the purposes of reading things.
Okay. I'm also going to presume that the rest of the group make their way in the opposite direction to where you guys are as well. But they don't
That's fine.
cross that area. They just kind of like surround it as like, oh, dead body. Interesting.
So there's something on that bridge written in the language I don't understand. Can I make out the characters and explain to them what I saw through the mirror, so nobody actually has to go on the bridge to read it?
Well, if owl can write with its beak.
Let's roll for perception for you, Perrin, or the owl. I'll take either or. And based on the perception, we'll see if you're able to inscribe properly. Okay.
Ow!
So
Oh.
the owl starts scratching into the dirt ground some symbols that read, "Feel free to pass at any time." And this is written in Undercommon.
Feel free to pass it. Huh.
Now,
It
I
You know,
don't-
says,
this
feel free
is
to pass
something I would
anytime.
never expect a drow to write.
I don't know this language very well, so I would put a lot of faith in that. And it's being read from a mirror, so just saying.
Fair
well,
enough.
you wrote
Undercommon,
it quite
by the way.
precisely, so maybe you missed a word or two, but from what I read, it seems plausible to be written there. Maybe as some kind of tourist attraction. Feel free to pass whenever you want, or whatever. So
Did we notice the dead man, by the way?
Oh yeah, you definitely
Oh,
notice
there's a
there's a
dead man.
corpse. You definitely notice the corpse
Yeah,
across
no,
the cabin.
And I suppose that guy just died of joy.
And happiness.
Well, we'll see.
well,
Let's,
judging by the
Just gonna send my raven over to get a look at this. To give me sight of the thing. As
Okay.
Find Familiar lets you see through the eyes of the creature.
Sure. So your
Let's see, can I
raven
set my
flies
course
over.
across the bridge.
Mhm.
I mean, you could if you want to.
Yeah, let's do this thing.
Raven flies over.
All right. So the raven flies over, and the translation is actually incorrect, as you probably suspected. It says "none shall pass."
Charlotte, come back.
Is there
Raven
a dra-
lands back on his shoulder.
Is there a drawing of a wizard?
No, there's no drawing of a wizard.
I
They should
don't
have
know
drawn it.
how, but your owl managed to write the exact opposite of what was on the bridge. Well, admittedly, there was a bit of a smudge on one of the characters, so... And it does flip the entire sentence structure around. Undercommon sucks. Let me just say that. The language is terrible.
Well then, if the bridge is, well, let's say that bridge is guarded by some magics. Why don't we go the other way, where we also found the bridge that has no inscription, and maybe we can,
We could
go
check the
around.
other bridge. Don't see why not.
Yeah. And if it doesn't lead the way we want, we can return and try some risky-ish
And-
tactics.
So reveal the bridge here. It does not have the same inscription as the one on the left side of the area. So it looks like this is clear.
Well, that's hopeful.
I'm gonna walk slowly across the bridge.
You get
A
across.
Balrog appears. Roll dex.
You get across easily.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
having flashbacks to fungal zombies, and I don't like it.
So these bloody steps
Alright.
are, well, logically coming from the dead man.
Sam, I'm gonna need you to roll a dex save, please.
Oh dear. Why, I slipped on the blood.
Not quite.
Do I have the...
Oh,
Oh, nothing.
oh!
I meant
So,
to ask for the paladin aura, but...
as you walk across, you hear some creaking under your feet, and the 4 squares that you're in all open up into a maw of like darkness below. You just manage to leap, we'll say, off before the trapdoor opens up completely, and below you see a bunch of dirt hit something very, let's say, gelatinous, and it gets slowly absorbed by it. And it kind of like
dear.
moves a little as that happens.
They have scary cubes down there.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. We have Oh, that's what you meant by 4x4 or 2x2.
Yeah, it was like it's a 10-foot radius trapdoor that opens up into a gelatinous cube that is below.
Well,
Yeah, that's
schnitzel.
Pretty terrible.
Yeah,
Your nat 20 definitely helped.
it did. Okay, so I'm gonna use my mage hand and press every single step
Well, more,
up to the dead man.
more grace than his all. Give him that.
So we'll say that your slow and methodical planning has bared fruit, and there are no further traps that you noticed from here to the dead man.
Oh no, he
Okay.
says that you notice.
I was sharpening 10
Yet
seconds
again.
ago. Yeah, I'm gonna, just in case, test every step I make before I step on it with
Okay.
a stick.
That's fine. I'll say that you get to the body easily enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand a bit 10 feet apart and gonna use mage hand to, just touch him to see if he moves or does anything dangerous.
He eats the hand.
So with the mage hand, you
In the hand, I
kind
have
of like
freckles.
you poke at him, and he moves and groans in pain. It seems.
Mr. Sir, are you okay? Okay, I sent him with awakened mind, the same thing, and move step back.
The body kind of like shuffles a bit, but barely looks like it has enough strength to get up.
Folks, this one does not speak but growls. I'm afraid he's a zombie, so I won't approach him.
I don't think zombies growl in pain.
I don't know if it's a pain, Maybe his legs are broken and, he's still gurgling.
Well, I don't exactly want to go across this, so...
Well, Owen can do the earth shaping, I think, maybe.
She could. But... could end up with a catastrophic collapse of, the cliffside.
Yeah. Considering the state of this entire city, there's a good chance there's been some structural damage as well.
If it looks like a dwarf, if it
Okay.
dies like a dwarf, if it groans like a dwarf, it's probably a zombie.
Yeah. Okay, can I move people with mage hand? I can't, right?
So Perrin, the door on your left is actually smashed inward. You can enter at any time if you want.
Oh, it's very much open then.
Yeah.
Wunderbar.
It looks like it's just like a regular house.
Okay.
In the
then
middle of our street.
It looks completely abandoned. There's still food on the table. The beds aren't... The beds are made, but aside from that, it looks like majority of what you would consider important items have been taken. So, like, provisions from their cold cellar, and some clothes are kind of strewn about. But aside from that, this place is empty.
Then I'm going to send him down this way.
Okay. So all you really see is just like a deep chasm that's splitting up the entire area here.
Do I have a conception of how deep it is?
Well, you could like figure that out. Maybe toss a rock down there and count to 10.
What if you hear nothing after counting to 10?
Then I wouldn't advise jumping down it.
All right. So I'll drop one of my ball bearings.
Okay. So we'll see. We'll say that you hear like a little tink after about like 7 or 8 seconds.
Okay. What cantrips do I have?
Yeah, because you got a gaping hole here, and then you've got a bridge over here that is warning you not to pass it.
Yeah, I'm gonna test the pulse by touching the leg of the dwarf.
He
Person
kicks
jumped.
you
Okay.
into the abyss.
So you touch the leg, and as you do so,
Is it warm?
it is cold.
Oh, yeah, then I move really backwards.
Okay, so as you touch the leg, the man gets up very slowly, like it's almost robotic in motion. It looks like he is a drow soldier because he's got weapons on him and he's wearing leather armor, but it's in complete tatters. His
It looks like a dwarf.
his one
It's a drow.
he's a drow because of the white hair.
Here.
His white hair.
He's a okay.
So he's got. You notice, Hivsam, that he's got some deep scars running down the side of his pale face, and he kind of like half of his body gets up, but then he just kind of like rights himself suddenly, and you hear like this like crack as his top half of his body just kind of like back up. His arms dangle to his sides, and his head turns to you, and his eyes kind of snap open, and they're like this white, milky, pale irises. And
Yep, sounds like a zombie to
he
me.
kind of adjusts his bottom of his jaw as it cracks a little, and you see drooling, viscous black liquid just kind of like pour out of his mouth and drip onto his chest. And he starts to speak. Your fuel is futile. I will take Kagrum as I have dozens of times before. The city will fall. More of your friends will turn to me for salvation, and I will have my vengeance. I will bury you under the corpses of the innocent.
Immediately shoots him.
So you take your hand crossbow and you fire directly into his side. It takes like a 5-second step back. It's like it kind of just
Oh god, he is dust.
it chuckles before it falls to the ground. On his knees, he's like, "Enjoy the parting gift I've left you," and he falls down, not moving anymore.
I mean, I understand
That
you
was
were
like
standing on the edge. but
100% day gone, right?
Oh yeah.
You just see Sir Oust palm his face.
I understand he was standing on the edge, but he didn't need to behave that way.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That wasn't me. What are you talking about?
Bonus action hide.
Oh, Aaron, thanks.
4.
Points
Yeah,
at the
now
dead
throw-
corpse.
And kick the corpse
I don't know
into
what
the
you're
chasm.
Kicks
Well,
it
take
into
the
the
arrow
chasm.
back first. Oh.
All right. So you kick the corpse into the chasm, and you see a hand grasp the side of the cliff. And it's not the same guy, because it pulls itself up and the face is like half showing a skull. And Perrin, you can see probably hundreds of moving figures quickly making their way up out of the chasm.
We're hosed.
They are booking it up. And you see more and more hands make their ways on either side, and there's like tons and tons of skeletal corpses making their way out other side of the chasm.
Run! We
Okay,
got
I'm gonna
skeletons
use
coming.
sickening radiance inside of the chasm.
Okay.
You know, so it radiates just the border of it radiates on the edges of the chasm.
Okay.
Well, that'll
So-
make a single path clear for you.
Maybe.
So you managed to make at least some sort of gap, we'll say, between the thinnest area of the chasm. So this is a 5-foot jump, it seems. About like 10 5-foot jump from here to the other side. So
No, I was casting a spell.
yeah, I know you were casting a spell, but like as you cast the sickening radiance, you cleared off a bunch of corpses that were making their way up the side of the chasm. They just kind of like fell down as soon as you cast that sickness, ray of sickness.
Oh shit.
So
Yeah, nice
alright.
30-foot radius.
So Peacebringer, Morgak, Bob, we'll say, and Cedric make their way to this chasm. Peacebringer just takes Cedric and is like, I hope you can fly, grabs him by his like scruff of his neck and throws him across the chasm. Cedric lands on his face. He's like, aha! And then he takes the robot and does the same. And then
I suppose you're not
Peacebringer and the other Morgak are now just like cutting down undead as they're making their way back up out of this chasm. They're just swinging their swords and axes
Yeah,
and
the
just
radiant
trying to
is
beat them
still
back.
active.
It's like, you might want to hurry up! And he kind of like points to you, Perrin.
Bum, 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 bum. Okay, I'll follow suit.
Okay, so
Run and a jump.
run and a jump. Make an acrobatics, please.
Or a,
I'm gonna
run
guide
across.
him.
No, don't jump off the bridge. Don't run across the bridge. Bridge is bad.
You
Oh,
make
you're
it
fine.
no problem.
I do a double
With a-
backflip across it.
With
Yeah.
a salto.
And then you just like put up your hands like, ta-da!
Owl lands on top of hand.
Yeah, I pull out a sign 10 out of 10.
Minor
Alright.
illusion.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Alright, so now I'm gonna do
Bravo.
Morgak and Peacebringer Morgak's acrobatics.
Give them guidance. Help.
Okay. So this is Peacebringers. Roll the d4, I guess. Let's see what they get.
Yep, D4.
Peacebringer makes it
Yeah.
across, no problem.
So just
Alright.
kill off Morgak. This would be a horrible way for him to die. After
actually-
everything.
You know, this is literally like Lord of the Rings. He falls down and then fights all.
Well,
all
regular
of
Morgak
others.
actually has
PGs.
beggar acrobatics, but oh my god, he rolled so badly.
D4, please.
1d4.
Even though we don't actually have him on the map, so
Okay,
I don't
so
know if we need to roll for him.
I'm definitely rolling for him because this adds drama. He makes a leap, and as he does so, one of the undead from this side grab onto his foot, and then another one grabs onto his other foot, and they fly over with him, and they start dragging him down off to the side of the cliff. He's hanging by his hands, like right here.
Well, go ahead, Morgak or Peacebringer.
Morgak.
Pull him up.
Help Morgak.
I will help myself, yes.
Morgak.
Help yourself,
Use the
please.
Morgak. It is.
Guidance.
So,
Save?
Peacebringer, well, actually,
Yeah.
I rolled for
right.
strength, but I think I should have rolled for athletics, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
do that.
Roll for that.
I'll be nice.
Thank you.
Okay. This should help.
Ah,
That definitely helped.
Help.
So, Peacebringer Morgag just grabs the other Morgag by his arm and just like yanks him straight up. And as he does so, he takes a back cleave with his small hand axe and slices the other two undead in half at the hips, and they just go like "Argh!" and fall down into the chasm.
Ultra competent paladins. Okay.
He just like throws Morgak up and then takes his back axe from his back and just like "Shee!" Quick, swift action. Yeah. All right. There are more undead starting to make their way up And they are also coming from this end as well. So ousts, I should say. There's a bunch of them just going like quickly barreling towards you. They're unarmed, but they're coming in like the hundreds at this moment.
Guidance.
Guidance is a hell of a drug.
Can anybody destroy undead at this level?
No, we don't have any clerics, you see.
They've never had any clerics.
We don't have a first aid.
Well, actually, we had, but he's evil now.
Yeah, well, sadly.
Spoiler alert. Oh no, wait, you
First
saw it.
aid kit.
What was that?
We need a first aid kit.
Eh, it's okay. We've got paladins with lay on hands.
It's fine.
Alright. I think we're both good, so... And I need a D4 for both. Boop and boop.
I'm gonna send
So,
you all this way to
18 and a 24 to cross that 10-foot gap.
I'm going to say you got an acrobatics of 18 and an acrobatics of 25. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
Both of you get
Alright,
across.
so we get across pretty easily.
Nice. We run.
Yeah,
All right.
we're going.
So
Wait, hold on a second. Where's Alwyn?
we're going
And
to...
Store.
We'll
No,
assume
and-
it's fine.
Store and Janine and Alwyn, I'm presuming that they're all with you and they're running with you. Because I
Yeah,
don't have
she-
enough time to make all these, like, move all these tokens by myself. So I'm saving myself some effort here.
Okay.
So
Alright.
I'm going to move you out of this map now. We're going to say that you're running through the city.
Ooh.
Yes, that is the city.
Run away!
All
Hey,
right.
Shall we run and take the mirror?
So all these undead are swarming from all directions from the ground. It seems like the only safe bet you guys have right now is maybe getting to higher ground, if you want. Or you could just run through the city's alleyways and stuff, and we could do like a little chase scene. It's up to you.
Well, from not mine, but from experience, I know that whoever holds the high ground is more powerful Jedi. I mean, in more powerful position. So,
Yeah.
It's over, Dagon. I have the high ground.
you were like my
Yes,
brother.
but currently he has the numbers on you guys, so you gotta decide quick. You want to run through the
You
alleyways, or
underestimate my army. Don't try it. Fireball.
High ground.
high ground? Okay.
High ground it is.
All right, so I want you guys to choose either acrobatics or athletics to get to higher ground. I'm going to get the Morgax to do the athletics.
And are we
These
just averaging this?
Yeah, so what it's going to be a party sort of like roll-off, and each of you are going to do your rolls, and then I'm going to take the average of those.
Nice.
Oh, you guys are performing quite well. Let's make sure the other ones do the same here. So, Awen's definitely going to be using her highest. That's going to be athletics.
Run, Forrest, run.
And then Morgak is going to use his athletics as well. And then
Dear.
Peacebringer Morgak is going to use his also athletics. Alright, so out of all of this, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 passes. So overall, we're going to say the group manages to get onto a couple rooftops. And you guys are now making your way across rooftop to rooftop, just trying to avoid these undead that are trying to scramble up towards you and pull you down with them.
Ninja Turtles.
Oh god.
So you make it past the chasm, you make it past a couple rooftops.
Are we doing parkour?
Yes, pretty much.
Just be glad he hasn't gotten to the undead dragons bit yet. Hopefully he won't this time.
Oh, I got plenty of those later. Don't worry about it.
Whee.
I said yet.
All of a sudden, you see a giant shadow loom overhead. No, I'm not gonna do that.
Well, a blue dragon would be terrifying to fight here.
Blue Eyes White
God
Dragon,
damn it,
yeah.
Bart.
All right.
I mean, burrowing. Ugh.
So I'm going to do some flat rolls for a couple other characters and see how they perform.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
So,
What could go wrong?
we've got like a couple extras with you, so I'm just going to do about 3. Okay, so we're going to say that Janine and Cedric are falling behind the group right now. Cedric isn't exactly made for this kind of combat. He's a civilian. He's not doing so well. And Janine is trying to keep him from like falling too far behind. But it looks like if they don't catch up, they're going to be overwhelmed with undead.
Fine. Oust throws a fireball behind them to give them a little bit more room and shouts, "Get your ass in gear."
All right, I'm going to need you to, because you're doing this in a hurried stance, I'm going to want you to aim. And I'm going to give you... Are you going to just stand still and take your aim, or are you going to just fire it quickly behind you?
The fireball?
Yes. Because if you're doing this sort of like a backhanded shot, you're going to have a higher chance of hitting them as well.
I mean, realistically, we're moving at speeds we normally would in combat. And even in combat, you're able to stop for an instant, cast a spell, and then keep moving.
Well,
so
that's...
behind the slackers, I'm going to throw up the silent image, and I'm going to want to cast, like, to make it look like the wall and the rock crags continue across to cover them.
So, like, it looks like an invisible wall that the undead are going to think they're going to have to make their way
more
around.
looks like that we're just not here.
Oh,
Right.
I think.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to say, so for the undead that are, like, facing that direction, yes. Those ones get, like, they kind of, like, stop dead in their tracks. They're, like, really confused as to what's going on. And they start making their way down the rooftop and try and go around this, like, image that you put up. The ones, however, on the sides that are kind of following along on the left and right of you guys as you're making across yourself the rooftops are still following.
Then I move the image. Once the first group starts to disengage, I'll move the image around to try to mess up the other group.
Yeah,
Okay.
He can just make it a 15-foot cube of it looking like it's the space that they're on.
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to see if they can roll for intelligence to see if they can tell a difference. Again, just to keep it simple, it's going to be a flat roll.
Intelligence against my... Let me see what my DC is for this. 16.
Okay. They're not the smartest, so it's going to be a flat roll. They don't make it, yeah.
Hey!
So, yeah, they're still confused. So you're managing to sort of, like, confuse them just enough to keep them kind of off your back. You're not sure how long this ruse is going to last before they figure out that it's fake.
That's fine.
So for now, you're safe. Now I'll get you guys to roll another set of acrobatics or athletics. This is going to be round 2 of 3. So you guys are quickly making your way outside the city.
Cool.
You see that there's a little bit of end in sight. I'm gonna say that
Elves are oust.
I'm gonna say that Perrin's maybe about like second or third in line behind everybody else, so he's keeping up. Perrin, you notice that this area is looking quite familiar to you, so you can kind of point the rest of the group in the proper direction to make their way out of the city a little safer.
Okay. I'll have the bird get ahead of me and guide them in the right direction.
Okay, sounds good.
Flap, flap.
All right, so athletics for Peacebringer. That.
Ooh.
And...
Oh, no.
that.
That's better.
Okay, so...
It's pretty
regular...
even this time.
Yeah, regular Morgak, Hifsam, and Awin even are finding difficult to keep up. Peacebringer is booking it as fast as he can, even in his full plate. He's used to running in this stuff, so he doesn't have to necessarily worry about falling behind. He's kind of accustomed to like having heavy plate on him. Morgak is getting winded in his old age, and Awin ends up tripping on a loose shingle, and she kind of like trips over it as she's making her way.
I
across
mean,
the
worst comes to worst, Alwyn can cast Misty Step and catch back up.
Exactly.
Whenever some hits the wall while not looking at the zombies.
Yeah. Hifsam, you kind of got distracted and you ram yourself into like a chimney top without paying attention. You just it takes the wind out of you for a few seconds.
What are you doing?
As for the rest of the group, roll more of these.
Yeah? Oh. God damn it, Cedric.
Actually, this time it wasn't Cedric.
Restore.
80085, his leg, although repaired,
no.
has seized up. And now he's
His
dragging
servo's
it.
locked again.
His servos have locked up. So now he is very slowly limping. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to make any jumps. He's just completely like, oh no. Shit hit the fan.
Fuck.
I'm going to roll for the undead and see if they figure out this.
Hold on a second.
Here.
What
Yeah.
about my horse?
At the moment, your horse is unsummoned. Do you want to summon your horse?
He does
No
not
way.
have time.
It takes 10 minutes.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll for the undead to see if they've grown wise to this little trick. Yes, they have.
They see. Thought you could pull a sneaky on us.
Yeah, so now the undead are realizing Perrin's trick, and they're making their way past the illusion, and several of them will be upon 80085 within minutes. Or within seconds, I should say, not minutes.
How far behind is he from normal oust?
I'm gonna say maybe about 5 to 7 yards behind.
Run up to him, dimension door, and then I zoom ahead to the exit. Well,
Okay.
actually, zoom ahead 500 feet.
So I'm going to want you to do a strength check versus the strength check of a few undead that are almost upon him. See how you
No,
do.
teleportation doesn't work like that.
So, okay, hold on. You got to explain to me how you're doing it. So are you teleporting to him and then teleporting again? Or are you running back and teleporting him?
If I so much as touch him, I'm able to teleport.
Okay, so yeah, in that case, how about do this? Do athletics versus... yeah, just do your athletics, and then I'm going to do a flat roll to see if the undead catch him before you catch him.
How about instead I Misty Step as a bonus action to him, and then Dimension Door? It'll burn spell slots, but it won't be a roll on something that I am pretty bad at.
Okay, so in that case, I'll let you get away with that, burning an extra spell slot to get to him before the undead. So you managed to just touch his arm just as one of the undead were about to like leap onto his back, and it falls flat on its face, and you manage to get him away from the undead. But his leg is still seized up, so someone's gonna have to carry him.
Alright, Peacebringer.
Alright.
This one's on you when you get here.
So Peacebringer runs up and he throws the robot onto his back and starts making his way across the rooftops as well.
Okay.
Alright. Is there anything else anybody else wants to do? Like, Sam, is there anything you want to cast or
Well,
use?
do I have enough time
I,
appropriating the situation to cast and still move?
Oust was able to, like, do his Misty Step in his Dimension Door. You can also cast spells as well.
Okay, I'm gonna
yeah.
Eldritch Blast the nearest two zombies.
Okay, so roll to hit. Yep, that'll definitely hit.
Schmack, schmack.
So
And they get pushed away.
a couple of undead start making towards you, Sam, but you manage to go foof, foof, and make them go flying on either side of the roof onto the ground below with a sickening little crack. Doesn't seem like they're going to be back anytime soon. But more are swarming to your position, so you continue running. Perrin, what do you want to do now that they've seen past your little illusion?
I'm looking for a place to keep moving or hide, one or the other.
Either
And then
or. Yeah, it's up to you.
So I want to find a good place to hide and then drop the illusion again to see if I can trick him again. Because I've got it for 10 minutes, so I'll move it and change it and shift it. And
Okay. Yeah, I could allow that. So what would you change it into? So the previous illusion is no longer working now.
a pit across the whole, like one of the caverns they just came from.
Oh,
that goes across.
Okay, so we'll say you do like a 15 by 15 sort of like cavernous drop, and you keep moving that as you're running to make it look like it's a long chasm.
Right.
Okay. In that case, last roll for acrobatics or athletics, guys.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Right, and these ones. Alright, so overall we got 23 and 18, a 22, 18, 15, 10. So we're going to say everybody makes it more or less past this third round, with the exception of Cedric. He's starting to fall behind as well. He panics and throws his javelin at the nearest undead, which easily just like dodges it, smacks it out of the air, and then barrels towards him.
this is his own fault.
Yeah. He saw the undead and like really freaked out and just like, eh. Perrin, yeah, you would definitely hit that undead. So that's a lot of dice. So you
Yeah,
immediately
sneak
just
attack
like,
wouldn't apply there, but the
Right.
but the
Just
6
six
would.
damage.
Yeah, that would count, at least the 6. So you fire off a bolt of fire, and just as the undead goes to Cedric's neck to take a huge chunk out of it, it takes a firebolt straight to the face, and its head is now on fire, and it squeals backwards and just falls off the rooftop. To like, falls
And
down.
then, great. Okay.
Yeah. Cedric quickly gets up and continues running. And then the other people. I only have to roll for 2 now. Oh, lovely. So
Speaking of 2,
Oh.
Store ends up getting one of his feet caught by a couple of the undead that are making their way up onto the side of the rooftop, and he's trying to
Worthless.
kick him away, and his hands start to glow a bright red almost, and he takes one of the skulls of the undead and just sears its face right off before its skull just explodes in shards.
yeah, he's fine.
And then he takes his other hand that's free and grasps onto the chest of another undead while it's trying to bite his arm, and crushes its skeletal frame within his fists. And it just falls limp. And he tosses it aside and tries to get back up. So right now he's trying to make his way back up, but he's getting surrounded by undead right now. He's fighting them off fairly well, though.
And Janine?
Janine was fine. Janine was the 19. She's still running.
Okay.
Smart woman.
I'm gonna use this one. You know, in the area in front of Store, so he doesn't get
Surrounded.
tentacled.
Okay, yeah. So you open up a black portal, and inky tentacles start shooting their way forth from this portal and smacking away all the undead that are surrounding Store. And he just kind of like looks up in surprise and is like, all right, that works. And then he just starts booking it around the portal and making his way to you guys.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
And with that, the end is in sight, Perrin. You notice that the crack in the wall that you made your way through last time is still open and available to use. You're only going to be able to squeeze one person through at a time, though.
Dive roll through it.
All right. Perrin makes his dive roll with complete ease. And he makes his way through the crack with no problems.
And then hide.
Okay. And then you quickly disappear on the other side. Everyone just notices you go dive roll through and then just get shrouded in shadow afterwards.
Fair
He's
enough.
a machine.
All right, everyone roll for acrobatics. Except for Perrin, because he got a nat 33.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
I'm going to say that Sir Oust makes it, regular Oust and Hifsam are kind of shuffling their way through. I'm going to roll for the other main characters here and see how they do. I'm going to do Awin first because it just kind of seems logical. I mean, she can fit in wells, so why couldn't she fit past this, right?
But it's horizontal.
Yeah, it's horizontal. She got 23, though.
Oh, well,
Easily makes it through. And then acrobatics for the Skull Crumpa and Peacebringer. Peacebringer gets a nat 20. So you see
that's classic Peacebringer.
You see regular Morgak just kind of like, all right, I got this, and he's shuffling his way through. You see Peacebringer barreling towards the regular Morgak, who's like, out of the way! And then he just like smashes right through the crack and makes a huge hole. And it's
Problem
like
solved.
And it basically, like, regular Morgat just kind of like, you know in those cartoons where, like, at the end there's, like, a really small crack, but they kind of, like, get quickly shoved into it, so they're just like... That's basically what happens, is, like, Peacebringer completely smashes Morgak into the other side of the crevasse, where regular Morgat just kind of, like, squeezes his way, gets stuck halfway, and then Peacebringer shoves him the rest of the way through, and he flies out the other
also
side.
holding the Warforged.
Yeah. and the I'll just call him Bob. Bob on the back of Peacebringer's like, yoo-hoo!
Jubilant response. This reminds me of my childhood.
All right.
You know, you can't really expect anything normal from any Morgak ever.
No. So we're gonna do this for... Oh, she's gonna have higher. What am I talking about? So this is gonna be Janine. She gets a 16.
Yeah.
She kind of like shuffles her way through. Store. And we're gonna do good old Cedric, bringing up the rear with a 15.
That's pretty good.
Store is having a hard time getting through, and Cedric is trying to like push his way through as much as he can, but the undead are very quickly swarming the gaping hole that Peacebringer made.
I'll make it look like the hole is not there.
Right now, from your perspective, you can only see Store and Cedric making their way through. You can't really see a huge hole. I'll say
Through
that
the owl.
at the very top, like you can see sort of like a little bit of a gap just above where Peacebringer would have made a bigger hole, but based on the angle where you are right now, you're not going to be able to see a whole lot. So the best you could do is like there's a small opening that you would see just above them.
Can the owl
we
get out there to
prepare
give me a
to
better
shoot?
perspective?
The owl can, yes.
So I can cast through his eyes and move it.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that.
Yep.
Oh, that's a cool trick. Okay,
This
so
is true.
we'll say that the owl
Nice.
makes its way above the other two individuals and has now a clear line of sight to the opening, which is piling up very quickly with undead as they're clawing their way towards them. As you do that, I'm going to see if the undead make their way through a little bit, and then I'll let you do your thing.
I'll win it. Fucking mold earth.
Okay, so the entire group of undead, because they're scrambling so hard to get to them, they are blocking their own path to get through. Right now, they're just on top of each other, just like snarling and grabbing at any loose clothing they can get their hands on. But they've essentially blocked themselves. At least for now, until more show up and start shoving deeper. That's what she said. Anyway, go ahead, Perrin.
4.
Oh, for your illusion, what were you going to cast?
It's the
Make
same
wall
one that
look
I
like
cast.
wall.
Oh, the
It's
same,
that
make it look
silent
like a
image,
wall?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've got it for 10 minutes on a concentration, so I'm just moving
Yeah,
it around where I
just
need
move
to.
it around to wherever he wants.
Okay. So in that case, you put up that wall again. Several of the undead are going to be clipped through it, however, because they've already made their way through the crack. But a lot of
Can
the
we shoot
undead
him?
on the outside are just confused right now because what they see from their perspective is a solid cliffside with limbs kind of flailing out the other end. So they just
And
kind of like
then-
stop and they're like, no clip is on, does not compute.
And then I'll create an illusion as if it's a huge bout of lava coming out of the side of the mountain.
Okay. All right, so you do that, and the ones that aren't already made their way inside the cliff crack start fleeing in the complete opposite direction as quickly as they possibly can. The other ones that are closer to the lava stream start running in all different directions. And I'm going to say a handful of undead are managed to make their way almost to Cedric and Store. So Cedric, some of his cloak has been grasped by several undead, and they're yanking him towards them. Store, I'm going to roll for as well to see how he's doing. Store grabs on to Cedric and starts pulling in the opposite direction to try and get them off of him.
And rolled just a little bit higher, so
Yeah.
he's actually succeeding.
Yes, he's slightly succeeding, but more and more undead are kind of coming on top of Cedric and trying to grab at him.
Morgak, pull.
I'll leave it up to Oust and Hifsam because you guys are actually here technically. So what do you want to do? Perrin's doing his illusion thing.
Well, I
scared off
mean,
most
if
of the
there's
undead.
lava there, I feel
Hold on a
like a
sec.
little bit of fire in addition to the lava will just add to the effect, right?
How about
True.
from the side we're on? I make an illusion that there is a wall where we stand, and the only path that leads is toward where the chasm is. So basically, they see path there, and it's like a landscape, but actually there's a hole, and they fall down.
I'm going to say at the moment you're wasting your time on that just because they already see Cedric and they have their eyes on him. So that's what they're focusing on right now. They're not paying attention to anything else. So any further illusions you're going to cast will probably be completely for naught.
Well, there's always one thing to do.
I half thought you were going to say, well, there's always next time, and then run away.
So where are you aiming this Eldritch Blast? Are you aiming it at the undead or are you aiming it above them?
At the undead that are going for Cedric. The
Okay.
closest ones.
So I'm going to say it's with disadvantage because there are other targets in the way. However, because you rolled high enough, we're going to say both shots hit. So you shoot off 2 Eldritch Blasts, and you manage to take off the head of one of the undead that were grabbing at Cedric's cloak, and the other one takes it square in the chest and gets flown back 10 feet. There is a third undead that is crawling towards Cedric, but it looks like he's doing okay by getting away. I'm just going to roll for Cedric as well as Store.
That's good.
So that's Store, and Cedric got a 9. So Store is just like, come on, laddie! And he just like tosses him ahead because there's a big enough hole for him to kind of like squeeze him past. And Store turns and fires off a bolt into the undead's face that's crawling towards him, killing it instantly. And then he starts making his way across the chasm. So it looks like the rest of the undead have fled. The remaining undead, we'll say you guys managed to quickly dispatch. There's only like a handful that managed to like get through. So they're easily destroyed by your guys' abilities and prowess and all the hand axes Morgak has. So that's it for the combat. Yay!
Okay.
Da-da-da. Really, Cedric, I understand you were literally stoned for like hundreds of years, but come on, you can be faster.
He's just like gasping between breath. He's like, screw you.
Is anyone still hearing the music?
Yes.
Yes, I am still hearing from the music for some reason. I don't know why.
Is it on Roll20? Not this?
No,
It's the only reason I can think of, because the bot isn't in chat anymore.
I'm as confused as you are.
Well, there we go. Weird.
Yeah,
Okay, Mr. Technology.
yeah, that was a little random.
Alright.
Oh,
Oh,
look,
nope, it's
more
still
music.
going. I'm assuming Alwyn immediately mold Earth closes the gap.
I will assume that is a fair assumption.
Yeah. Alright. Immediately Sir Oust goes over to the Warforged. Says, what exactly happened back there?
So you go over the Warforged and ask him that?
Yep. What's the problem?
Oh, So he just kind of like points down to his left leg and is like, the algorithm displays show my leg is seized up, needs more lubricant.
That's what she said.
Strange things indeed are required.
You can set him down, Peacekeeper. Should only take me a second.
All right, so he does so.
And applying that to something is just a simple use of prestidigitation. So I do that.
Okay, easy enough. And with a bit of that, you manage to like, you're able to fix his leg, and it seems to be working, functioning properly now.
Right. No reason to stop then. We should keep going.
I'm so confused by this, but okay, we'll just leave it.
Yeah.
I don't
Maybe you
know.
should try starting a different bit of music?
Probably
See if
that.
it overwrites it?
I think it was actually playing over the music that I was playing already.
You sure it's not something in Roll20? Yeah, no, it's something in Roll20.
Is it?
Dark Elf
Alright.
City, Morning Dinger. Score music, Mike Bridge.
What on earth? Why is that playing? Okay, enough of you.
It was fitting as all hell.
Yeah, it was.
I liked it,
We're gonna
but
take that. It's fine.
unexpected.
Yeah. I don't remember that.
Surprise, to be sure.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll leave it at that then. I was wondering where that was coming from. Okay. So yeah, he's fully functional. His leg is fully functional again. So you guys are good to go.
Well, no reason to dally then.
Yeah.
Spend a few minutes to summon our horses and we get going.
Sounds like a plan, Stan.
It's oust, actually.
It does, Dan.
Well, it's Stan now.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I'm the GM here. I say what goes. Now spooky music. Okay. So continuing on your wonderful journey, everyone being very, very tired from that long calisthenics thing.
Cookie burai.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, buddy, tai show.
Cockroach calisthenics first.
So you've made yourselves you've gotten yourselves through the city, and you're making yourselves through the cavern towards Kagram Gate. Judging from where you are now, Perrin, you can tell that you're probably a good maybe like hour or two away. You could do a short rest if you wish, just to kind of like replenish a little bit of what you have, or you continue moving forward.
I'm always down for a short rest. It's up to everybody else. Well, I would actually like to have about 4 hours, but get some spell slots back. But it's up to you guys, though. I can keep moving. We're about 2 hours from destination. You want me to keep leading the way, or you want to grab a quick rest? Anybody hurting? Anybody need to heal?
No, I think we're actually all in perfect health. Only a few spell slots have been used. Rivsam
Yeah.
could use the short rest, but I think
Yeah,
that might be
definitely.
able to wait until we get there.
Yeah, I think we can hurry up. In fact, we can send somebody to, go in front of the others, if it needs be.
Sounds good.
Yeah, hypothetically, I could speak through my familiar. I just realized via the voice mimicry thing. That's neat.
Well, people would be confused, but then again, these are confusing times. So, what say you? We go normally, or we do rest, or
I say we go there and then, come back. Well,
Come
go there,
back?
come back. What am I saying? Go there, rest, and then
Yeah.
just, pretty much get everything prepared.
all right, let's.
Okay. So you keep moving then.
Oh, how many hours have passed since we left the temple? Because I want to eat another piece of a fruit.
I'm going to say,
It's probably once per long rest.
yeah, it'd be once per long rest. So you guys haven't had one yet, I don't think.
Okay.
So, yeah. Right now it's you don't need to eat another one of the fruit. You're still pretty full from the last one.
right.
Yeah, you're fine for now.
Onward then.
Okay. Let's see here. Do I have... There's one thing I wanted to check to see.
Yeah, right, one thing. Can I try to contact Lothar and ask him if he saw an influx of more people coming into the realm of the dead?
Okay.
Since people died and
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and roll for Arcana for that. See if you challenge him. See how the reception is. Okay. So Lothar manifests in front of you, Hifsam, and he just goes, "Guten Tag!" He just waves.
Hello, Lothar. We've been to Drow City now, and it seems that it's a bit desolate because people died. So, did you meet any of them in the realm of the dead? And did you hear anything that might be useful to us?
So Lothar just kind of like rubs his chin and he goes like, "Well, there is some interesting developments. We've managed to capture one of the little wolfies that were killing all the spirits, and we're understanding more of their anatomy. These things are genetically altered. These used to be actually very like normal creatures, but something has corrupted their abilities to include spiritual consumption, is what I like to call it. I am working with Bud right now, and he seems to be bringing up a concoction or antidote to these wolves and their abilities. It is taking much time, but we are doing great amount of research. Very complicated."
I see. All right.
From conqueror to mad German scientist. What has happened?
There is a connection there, and I don't think I like it. But yeah. All right. If you notice anything. Oh, by the way, you wanted to tell me something before, right? You always forget that.
Oh, Lothar did?
Oh yeah, also Morgak was gonna share something with me in our ride over. I don't know what it was. I'm assuming he was going to share something.
Yes. Because actual Morgak isn't here, I'm going to save that for now. Just because I kind of want like the RP between you two for that.
Alright.
Yeah, I figure that's fair. Because
Okay.
it's kind of his thing to say. But yeah, we'll assume that he hasn't shared it as of yet. You're not entirely sure why. And so...
Oh no, there's gotta be a moment.
So Hifsam, you ask Lothar if there's anything else he might be forgetting. That kind of
He
thing.
might have forgotten to tell me.
Okay, so Lothar just kind of like scratches his head a little bit. He's like,
You're adopted?
actually, have you seen a cat around recently? One wearing, it's about yay high, wearing a fancy boots and a hat, carrying around a lute?
Yeah, Mr. Mistress.
A
No, we
double?
haven't seen him since the...
Oh, you haven't
Since
run into him
the-
yet.
No.
So I was talking to Guess, and I was wondering what happened to that little runt, and he didn't really say much. But then again, he's not much for speaking actual words, so...
Yeah. Well, basically he got incinerated by some teleportation magic, from what I understood.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well, I guess he'll turn up somewhere. I know he was the ones that guided you to Geth. It's just, he kind of like whooped out of existence when he sent the rest of you back to the material realm, so I'm not entirely sure where he went.
Maybe he returned where he died, which would be in the swamp, which is the least hospitable place here in the world.
That is where Astor entered the realm.
Oh, that's rough. Well, hopefully he makes his way safely across, but who knows, it's just a little kitty. It's pretty useless. Anyway, you have yourself a good day. I must get back to work.
Was Janine listening in on this conversation, by the way?
She can overhear it. Yes.
Given it was one of her companions.
Yeah. And as she hears that conversation, she's like, wait, hold on. Excuse me, sir. Have you seen my brother, James? It's like, what? James. Nope, can't say I have. Toodles! And then he fades away. He's like, son of a bitch!
Normally he would
she
say his
deserves
mother is a wonderful woman, but
She
no memories.
she looks to you, Hipsam, and is like, and I thought I hated you the most.
Well, I mean, that is him, so...
He only looks at her and says, and he, shrugs.
She just
I know.
storms
I hate
off
me
in a
too.
huff.
Bitch.
Oh, how softly did you say that now?
Pretty softly.
Okay.
I'm gonna do this.
If she gets above an 18 on a roll. Not the actual value.
She
Too
didn't
bad.
notice. She just walks away in a huff.
Alright, so we're making our way down.
Town.
Moving.
I don't know the rest of the words of the song. I was hoping there was you guys did.
What is it? Moving fast?
Moving
Something?
fast. All of a sudden, Bob manifests a grand piano and starts playing.
Oh my god, he was a bard.
Yeah.
A bard with a piano. What is this madness?
It's really hard to carry
Finest
around.
one.
He had to get like one of those Casios because like he couldn't carry grand piano around with him the whole time.
Or Korg.
Yeah. It's like runs on just like batteries and magic.
Nice.
Yeah.
I wanted to play Bard like that.
You'll get your modern day campaign one day.
Oh, if I ever play that, we were held in a ride.
Hmm.
I'm gonna have like dozens of songs.
Right. So we're moving.
You're moving. Yes. So we'll say that just to save a bit of time, you guys managed to make your way to the rear gate of Kagrum. And before you is a very, I wouldn't necessarily say unusual scene, but confusing to say the least. You see swaths of people making their way to the gate, and a lot of these people, pretty much like almost every single one of them, are drow.
Unsurprising. I can understand this.
They're carrying carts filled with personal possessions, and they're making their way to the gate, which is currently closed at the moment. You see several dozen dwarven heavy crossbowmen lined above the palisades, and
This is quite a bit of people.
you also see a lot of the drow. They aren't moving any further forward because you see a handful of bodies on the ground with crossbow bolts in their chest or sides, not moving.
Oust on his horse moves forward. He will take the lead in this situation.
Okay.
That being Sir Oust.
So as you make your way to the gate, you hear a dwarf shout from the palisades, "Take ye a step closer, I'll fill you full of holes!"
If you're saying they're gonna fill your holes,
Fill you full of holes.
I'm joking.
Specifically of what, I will not say. Let's
He
leave it to the
needs to
imagination.
brush up his dwarvish a little bit. He got it close, but wasn't quite right, huh? Anyway. Is Queen Duval there?
Who the hell is that?
I was more pointing out towards, the group of people
Oh,
on the
yeah.
ground.
Okay.
Like-
So you say that like out loud to the rest of the...
No, I'm asking you as a player to the
Oh,
DM.
roll for
Do I see you?
perception. And see if you notice anybody of noble birth. So I'll say that you notice like outside of like the regular crowd that's kind of trying to keep their distance from the crossbow bolts, there is a small group of figures off to the side, just kind of like off this cliffside, kind of like in this area here. I can't even click on it, but whatever. So like right there, we'll say they're just kind of like in a circle, and it looks like they're just talking trying to like maybe assess the situation. You're not entirely sure. So that kind
Flawed
of
my horse over there.
As you do so, the three figures that are sort of like facing their back to you immediately turn and put their hands under their cloaks, but the one in the middle just kind of puts their hand up, and they immediately release their grasp on whatever they're going to draw, and then put their hands to their side and sort of like part, and you see a female drow just kind of pull her hood back, and it is Nazana Duval.
Queen Duval.
I wish seeing you was on better circumstances, my friend.
Well, that's how the case is when it comes to the Lich.
Have you heard anything of my daughter? Where is she?
I've heard no such things. To be honest, I just recently managed to escape the land of the dead, the ethereal realm. Not that I died or anything, I had to deal with a few circumstances in regards to what he was doing.
Ethereal realm. Did you speak to Geth himself?
He didn't so much as say a word, but yes.
Well, surely he must know what's going on. Is he helping us? What is his plan?
In his own skewed view of things, he believes that should he interfere, he would be taking away our own free will.
Such as the gods to live our mortal lives to ourselves, the cowards.
We can't judge their mindsets, even if we can call them pieces of shit every now and then. Not mortal like you and I. Regardless, let's see what we can do about getting you into this city.
Well, I did send an envoy, but as you see, he didn't make it past the gate.
Not even to say a word.
The best he could get out is we come in and then took an arrow to the chest. Unfortunately, my dwarvish is a little rudimentary. I would appreciate if you could smooth out the situation.
I can do that, and chances are I'm a touch more durable.
I have a tricks of a trade if you need.
I will also mention to you, Perrin, that prior to leaving Kagrum, you are under the understanding that your contact within the city should still be there waiting for your report.
Okay. And that's the because of my background, I had that one contact, right? The
Exactly.
criminal contact. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll look for the telltale thieves can't signs at normal places to see if that's still in play there, or if they've moved on.
Or if they're outside the gates, at least.
Mm-hmm. All right. Roll. I don't know if you roll for thieves can't to notice, or maybe just perception to notice a thieves can't symbol.
It's either perception or investigation.
I'll let you do. Yeah, I'll let you do like perception. I think that would be the best.
See something that stands out.
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't it be investigation because I'm actually actively looking for it, or?
Investigation is sharp details. Perception is more looking for
broad
things
details.
That jump out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm looking for broad because right now you're kind of far away from the gate. So with the perception at 20, which is really good, you notice that there is something written on the side of the palisades, maybe about like here. And you stealth up, no problem. I'm not even going to roll to see if the dwarves notice that. And you see in the Thieves' Cant, basically it's saying to Perrin, meet me at the Golden Anvil. And you know that the Golden Anvil is the pub within the city limits.
Okay. I head on back to the group and I say, I've got a contact that wants me to meet them at a certain pub within the city.
Well, we can make sure that happens if we get through this.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Well, how easily would I be able to sneak in?
Right now the gate is closed. You would probably have to climb over a bunch of rocks and palisades just to get to maybe like the top steps here. But even then, there's dozens of dwarven heavy crossbowmen that would probably notice you doing that. It looks pretty unadvisable to do such a thing. They're keeping a close watch on everybody down below right now.
So then I want to see with my criminal contacts, there's always a back way through a wall. If I can recall anything or find any symbols that are going to lead me to a back door in.
Okay. Roll for history and see if you recall this information. So you're just like, I know
yes.
I got past the back gate somehow, but I can't remember the instructions that my contact gave me. So you know you found your way around this heavily fortified area. You just can't remember how you did it last time.
Smexy, I have a really creative idea.
Mm-hmm.
You remember last time we were at the Kegram's Gate?
Yeah.
And I used my mask to turn into that dwarf enforcer captain.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, but
I
there's
don't
no
know.
guarantee that he's in the city as we speak. And then that'll make things really awkward.
Yeah.
The first time that happened.
So, to start, I'm gonna go to Queen Duval and say, are there any kind of agreements I need to mention? Any kind of anything that would paint things better in your light?
So Nazana says that she hasn't spoken to the dwarves in probably decades personally herself. They still have this ongoing dispute in the Crystal Caves on what belongs to whom, and they've been sort of like pushing their territorial rights a bit too much in the current climate politically, and they've had some, we'll say, skirmishes, not minor skirmishes, but like brawls that almost turn into all out like war. But they're very like on their tippy toes on like killing each other off completely, essentially.
So chances are they wouldn't be against just leaving you out here. Great. All right.
So I'll address Perrin next here. So you want to write a note and attach it to the owl and send it to the contact?
Right, in Thieves' Count saying, I can't recall where the back door in is.
Okay. I'm going to have you roll for stealth on the owl just because they might shoot it down. I'm warning you.
You can summon it back. It'd be all right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can always bring Nimrod back.
That's fair. But it's going to remember that.
He's got a plus on stealth, actually. So
okay, that's good.
And stealth goes against
Perception. Stealth is a dex skill, yes.
Dex skill.
So whatever bonus in addition to the dex bonus that he already has.
All right, so he's getting a dex +4.
And I'm giving advantage to these dwarves. I'm only going to roll once, but I'm giving them a high modifier just because there's so many of them. So 12?
No, 13. 13.
24. Okay.
Yeah, +3, +4 should be
So Nimrod goes to fly just over the palisades, but you hear a whistle of a bolt, and it's just like hits the owl and just plummets down.
Oh.
It doesn't look like they're letting anybody through.
Well, I mean, they do have to roll to hit still.
Oh, they noticed. They got a 24.
Well, they noticed, but they still have to roll to hit. It's a hard thing to hit a owl in the midst of darkness. Even with dark vision.
Considering that there's like over a dozen bolts that could have fired
God, you're
up.
telling me there's a dozen bolts just falling amongst the people now?
No, they're all aiming at the owl. But
but where are the bolts gonna fall?
Well, all right, so I will summon a familiar and call a ferret in this time.
Okay.
And that's going to take 10 minutes. So.
All right.
Okay, Smex, I want to go into the front of where they threaten with the bows, not...
Okay, so you're just going outside the range, like, before all the corpses. Yeah, okay. That's fair. All right.
and say, "Gentlemen, can I demand parley."
Can I? No, I demand.
Yo, so you demand parlay or you request parlay?
I request parley.
All right, roll for persuasion.
You are a charisma caster. Use it. And then guidance yourself while you're at it.
Well, 22 is pretty good anyway. So
But if he can get a 25.
the guard up at the top of the palisade, who seems to be in charge of the whole operation, just yells down, "Identify yourself!"
Quick, cast the spell.
I am Chris, and maybe you've heard of my exploits and of my companionship. We are the Wind, and we come here with some news that will definitely be useful for you, if you are, of course, willing to listen and to receive us in a diplomatic manner. At first.
He just goes like, "Just a minute," and he goes to like one of the other guards. Basically, just like tells him and points down to below the palisades behind the wall, and the guard just kind of gives a quick salute and just quickly makes his way down the palisades. "It'll be a minute, but I'm getting my superior. Do not move."
Sir, yes, sir.
So we'll say about like maybe 5-10 minutes pass. Perrin, your ferret is going to be summoned now.
Yeah, weasel.
Yeah, your
So I'll
weasel's
do
there,
the
yeah.
same thing. I'll attach a note to the weasel and send it on its way.
I really hope I don't have to take this up to 11, though, to get a response.
All right. So you send out your weasel. Do your
can.
roll again.
I gotta see what it's gonna. They're gonna see a damn fucking rodent running around.
They might. They might not care. Who knows?
Tiny beast. Come on.
Ferret?
I got a +5 stealth and a +3 on deck, so it's gonna be a +8 on the roll.
That is
okay.
correct.
That works.
Holy shit! I'm sucking tonight. 9.
Man.
Oh, dear.
All right. So that's a nat 1. The guards noticed a ferret running around, but they don't really take too much notice to it. They're just like, "Oh, it's just a bloody animal." But they're keeping an eye on like everything else. So they're ignoring it. But the ferret, being the special little guy that he is a little confused on which direction he needs to go right now. He's like, am I going through the gate? Or am I going up the wall? Or so he's like,
I got him through his eyes.
oh, you got through. Oh, you got him. Okay, good. So yeah, we'll say he squiggles his way through the gate, and as he does so, that guard that you saw leave, now returns to, returns one of his, we'll say one of his superiors. So the guard salutes to the golden inlaid armor of the new figure, and he kind of like pokes his head over the palisades, and you notice that he's got a very large iron ornate helmet with gold inlaid sort of like outlining it. It's very, very fanciful. It looks like it's a ceremonial sort of like armor. And he just kind of like cups his hands over his mouth and he's like, "The name's Iron Beard. Make it quick. What do you want?"
First question, sir. You probably know who we are. The Wind.
The walking instigators of natural disaster. Get out of here.
Aye,
Not a
laddie.
flattering title. It really isn't.
I have heard of you, and you make everything worse. Go away.
Oh god, it's accurate though.
Sir, I understand why you think of us that way. However, we bring some information and help that you may find absolutely necessary in this situation. And we know that the Horde is coming. We've passed through the Drow settlement and we saw carnage and things that should not exist here. So I think you should really listen to us, what we have to say.
So he just kind of like turns to the other guard. The guard shrugs. And then he turns down to you and yells out, like, "What happened to the regiment we sent out? They should be back by now."
Well, from what we saw and whatever we saw on our way here, everybody died in the worst possible way. There was blood, bodies, even those that still moved by not naturally. And they're coming this way.
You notice his eyes just kind of like widen suddenly, and he turns to the other guard, and it looks like he hurriedly whispers something into that guard's ear, and his eyes kind of turn wide too, and that guard makes his way quickly down the palisades. And Ironbeard turns to you, Sam, and goes like, "I'm opening the gate, but if any of those drow scum try to make their way down, we're shooting them all." And he waves his hand, and you notice that the palisades slowly are starting to move upwards.
Sir, before we enter this place, I would ask you at least to allow the Drow Queen to enter with us, as she is a crucial ally we need.
"The drow are scum. They'll turn on us at the first second. Only your party can pass."
Maybe I
Sir,
can give you a little bit of incentive then. Sir Oust calls out.
Hold on a second.
Okay. I'll
Sir,
let you go, Hivsam, yeah.
I'm not sure you understand the situation, but I request this.
Well, this is a fucking risk and a half.
Yeah.
All right. Well, charms, telepathic link, commands. So you request this to happen. All right. So then he has to make what kind of save?
It is a wisdom save. Shit.
All right.
Well, at least it doesn't say that he notices the spell's happening if it fails.
That's a good thing. So what level are you casting this at? Because it says you can't
Level
cast.
five.
Wait. How many spells have you cast so far, Riff Sam?
This is
You've
the
cast
last one.
You've cast 2 so far, right? Sickening Radiance and...
And the black tentacle one. Yeah. So he's cast 2.
Yeah, okay, so you're fine.
Yeah.
And
All right.
I have that staff thing that gives me another spell slot, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you're casting it at a
It's always fifth level.
level
it's
it's
always
listed.
fifth level. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And what does he have to beat?
It's 15. No, wait. The spell save it's 17.
17? Okay. This is an older dwarf, so he's going to be wiser than most, but we'll see how he does. So you said 15? You've dominated
yeah, he
him.
did not.
Yeah. Okay, so he kind of glazes over his eyes. He's like, "All right, we're allowing her to pass too.
And you're not going to threaten her either now or after. I need a written confirmation of this.
Her life will be not forfeit beyond these walls. She has immunity."
Thank you, sir, but I need a written
And
confirmation of this.
Without missing a beat, he snaps a soldier. Soldier comes over, and just so happens, like, have a quill and pen, because why not? And then he takes the parchment, scribbles something down very robotically. The guard next to him is just kind of like looking at him quizzically as he's doing so. He's like, "This is the most weirdest thing, but okay." Rolls up the scroll, robotically hands it to the other guard. The guard takes the scroll and makes his way down to the palisades. We'll say like a minute maybe passes, and then that guard, huffing and puffing, just like, "Here you go," and hands you the parchment with the written
I
order.
send mentally for the folks that they can enter, both they and the queen.
No, he said just the queen, not the
That's
rest
what he
of
meant
them.
by they, as in
Oh.
the party.
Oh, when you say
Yeah.
the whole group. Okay, I'll let you pass with that then, because he did roll poorly. So they now are all slowly making their way inside past the gate.
Nice.
As they do so, a couple of guards are looking completely flabbergasted, not knowing what to do exactly, and they look up to their commanding officers like, "Sir, but..." And he's like, "Boys, lay down your arms. They're fine. Let them pass. And the guards are just like, well, all right, I guess. And they
Thank you
shoulder their arms and let them get past.
And I send to oust suckers.
Just the smallest smirk from the sorcerer.
No, to both ousts.
Yeah, that works.
The other oust doesn't give a single expression change.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, just offers his hand to the queen to get him on the horse. Get her on the horse.
All right, she takes it.
Alright, up she gets.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys have made your way into the gate. Perrin, your ferret has made its way back to you as well. The note is no longer attached to him, so you're presuming that he got in contact with your contact, and he is waiting you at the Golden Anvil whenever you're ready.
I was hoping he would have sent me directions, but if we got in, I'll go with the rest of the party, of course.
Yeah, I figured
He'll
that...
probably think it'd be too much of a risk.
Yeah. It doesn't look like you're going to be needing those directions after all anyway.
So, sounds good.
Just keep moving. So, we're in the city.
So you guys are now in the city. So I kept the same map as I did before. You can feel free to visit all the areas that were presently available to you prior to you leaving Kagrum in the first place. One thing I do want to mention to you is like noticeable change has been in the refugee camp. It is filled to the brim with just random people. Humans, elves, and now drow are now taking their places amongst the camp. It is looking very disheveled, very overflowing. A lot of the houses have like garbage and just like refuse just piling up amongst the crowds. Everyone's looking quite somber and just kind of like completely disheartened about this whole situation.
We should seek Gunther after we speak with the authorities.
Gunther?
Do you
Yeah,
guys
the great paladin
Yeah.
guy who, you know, when,
Oh yeah, I remember him. Like, yeah, he's part of the order.
So, folks, I guess we're going to the authorities.
I've got to head over to the inn to meet a contact. Where do you guys want to meet up with me in, say, an hour?
I mean, yeah, we can meet up at the inn.
Okay, so I'm going to head over there now unless you need me with you.
Okay, we'll be there soon, I guess.
Okay.
Sounds viable to me.
Okay.
Sir Oust is going to let the queen take him where she needs him to be so that she can speak to presumably dwarvish nobility, I'd guess.
Yeah. So, that
Equivalent.
would most likely be the foreman's house.
Fair enough.
So that's 8.
To 8 we go.
Okay. Hifsam, are you following along with Oust and everybody?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm going to say that Janine and Store with Cedric make their way to the tavern with Perrin, just because they want to get a drink after all this. I think that's
Can't
fair.
blame him.
Yeah. Bob will follow you guys, along with, we'll say, the Morgax and Alwyn. So Bob will come with Austin, the queen, everything. And he's kind of like looking around. He's getting some very, very odd glances as well, specifically from the dwarves. They're just kind of looking at him like, is that what I think it is? You kind of like hear some whispers. It's like, I don't know. Haven't seen one of them in a long time. Maybe we should tell somebody.
All right.
So, first we'll deal with Perrin and your contact, okay?
Oh wait, this is the town where Frif Sam got his
Yeah, that's
hair
the shudder.
cut, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where he got
That's
his what?
the dwarf statue that he shouted obscenities at.
Yep.
Good times.
Actually, no, it wasn't this statue. It was the one
No, it was
in
the one before.
Yeah, it was the one before. That was in the slave market town outside of Kagrum.
That's right.
Yeah.
Similar setup in regards to that, though.
True.
So, who are we going with first? Perrin or...
So we're gonna go with Perrin first, and he's gonna do his thing, and then we'll go back to you guys. So, I'm going to get some little happier music here because it's really bringing me down.
I mean, isn't that the point?
Well, it's tavern music time.
Okay.
Actually, that's not tavern music time. What the heck?
I was about to say. Well,
Not-
this is a foreboding tavern.
Oh, I know what it is. Hold on. I didn't put stop. I put S, so that just confused it. Okay, now we're good. Okay. So, to the lovely tavern, Golden Anvil. So, Perrin, you push open the door, and the tavern looks a little less lively than normal. Not as many patrons, not so many people playing cards and having a good time. A lot of somber faces and a lot of people just keeping to themselves at their tables, just slowly drinking their ale and making hush whispers and talking about the current events that have been plaguing their entire city. You notice a very familiar face sitting at the bar talking to the tavern maid, clad in his shining iron-plated armor. You approach Gunther, who is your contact.
Okay.
World is small.
So this contact, he is part of sort of like an order of retired mercenaries / adventurers. Their main reasoning for existence is they're basically the Salvation Army of the world. So they go around helping people where they can, feeding the hungry, defending the helpless. He's part of what they're called the Valorian Guardsmen.
Okay.
So he was the one that basically hired you out to try and scout out the lair and see what kind of threat they were facing.
I give them all the information, especially about the weird portal.
Okay. So Gunther takes in all this information you give him. He also asks you if you found anything of use, perhaps some items or lore that could help us in the fight against Dagon.
Okay.
Do people count?
Yeah, he's basically kind of insinuating, have you figured out who he is or what his philanthropy is?
Philanthropy?
Philanthropy? I can never pronounce it. Don't make fun of me. Philanthropy.
No, but that is a rather amusing mispronunciation.
Philanthropy. He's a philanthropist, guys. Don't you know this?
Yeah.
I can imagine Dagon being a philanthropist. Not really.
I get a feeling that
I always have to constantly go onto Google and like type it in and get like the actual pronunciation because I never get it right. And this is not one of those exceptions, apparently.
Billionaire, undead, philanthropist.
Yep.
Playboy.
So, like I said, he's definitely up to no good. I couldn't get close enough to get the full scheme. But like I said, I relayed to him what I saw in the chamber with him cussing people out and sending people through time portals.
Okay, yeah.
And that's the best. That's as close as I could get.
All right. So he takes note of all that information.
Yeah, I found.
He also tells you that he has a what he could scrounge up. He has a group of Valorian guardsmen that have been making their way here from across the sea. Their estimated time of arrival is probably 2 days away right now, because as soon as he entered Kagaram, he sent word that they would require more assistance for the people that are here, because he expected more immigrants to show up. And lo and behold, he was right. So he's not entirely sure how many they're sending, but he just basically says, like, send as many as you can. So he's expecting them, like, within a couple days.
Okay.
He also asks you if you've run into any other people that could possibly help us in this situation.
I think if we present it to them the right way, we could get some people involved. I did run into a group and help escort them back here.
And he kind of like raises an eyebrow. He goes like, "Oh, do they have any names?"
I give him the names.
His eyes kind of widen in surprise. It's like, "My gods, I thought they had died! Fantastic!"
I thought they died. Shit! Now we have disaster. Really though, the name
They
is.
seem a little rough around the edges, but aside from that, they seem like a pretty competent group. And he just kind of like goes to, he's like, "So where are they now?"
Quite a political answer.
They had some things they had to finish up on, but they should be back here within an hour or two.
Okay. So as you're having this conversation, the door opens again, and a handful of dwarven soldiers and what looks like to be maybe their families enter in the tavern. All of a sudden, all eyes dart towards the door, and there's complete silence. Even the music stops. You hear like the bard going, "La da da da," and there's like a twing, and everyone's just like kind of slack-jawed right now. You notice that a couple of dwarves in the corner, a couple of dwarves in the corner immediately push out of their chairs and have their hands on their waists of their weapons and start making their way towards the drow that are just entered the tavern. These dwarves look, based on dwarven standards, heavily inebriated. Like, even you can tell, it's like these guys are sloshed.
Okay.
Gunther, in his wisdom, also pushes out of his stool and is like, "We might have a bit of a brawl going on here. Be careful." And he starts trying to make his way towards the dwarves that are notice these drow that just entered the tavern.
I just trying to sit back and read the room and get the information.
Okay. So Gunther just kind of like has both his hands up and he's just talking off to the side to these dwarves. Basically, he's just saying, like, "Come on, boys. Like, we don't need this now, especially during this climate. We're all friends here. Let's keep her cool." And the dwarf in the middle, just kind of like a little gruffer guy, missing an eye, just kind of like starts pointing towards the drow, yelling something in dwarvish that you basically understand as a string of slurs describing drow as like just worse than dirt. Like, they're basically the thing that worms eat. And he's saying it very loudly for even them to hear, but if they could understand dwarven, they'd probably just be like, "Oh shit." But it doesn't seem like they're facing them. One of the drow soldiers makes his way to the table where the barmaid is, with a female drow in commoner clothes, as well as a little toddler. Couldn't be no more than like 50 years old in drow age. A female little toddler. And he talks in broken common to be served food. The barmaid reluctantly looks towards the owner of the restaurant, and he just kind of like waves at her, goes like, "Whatever, like, give them the scraps that we got in the back," or something like that, in dwarvish. And she just kind of like nods at him and goes to the back of the kitchen.
Interesting.
Meanwhile, the dwarves, all three of them are starting to get loud and obnoxious towards Gunther, and two of them start pushing past him towards the family. It doesn't look like any of the other patrons are getting involved in this at all. They're just keeping their peace.
I get into a situation where I can get Gunther's back if I have to.
Okay. So Gunther puts out his hands to try and block the other two that are trying to flank past him, and then he gets pushed by the one in the middle, and he just kind of shakes his head like, "Boy, you don't want to do this. Trust me. Let's keep everything calm. I'll buy you another round of drinks, and we'll make sure everybody has a good time. What do you say?" But you can tell that this dwarf in the middle is telling his two guys to just like get these like filth out of this tavern. They don't belong here.
I'm going to start using stealth and hide so I can get a sneak when initiative starts.
Okay. So I'm gonna leave it at that for you at the moment. We'll come back to you later. So, Oust. You guys make your way to the warden.
Meanwhile,
Across the town, you make yourself to the warden's office, and I assume you present Nizana to the warden there.
Yep.
Okay.
Give her a general introduction in Dwarvish.
She takes off her hood to reveal her golden crown, and she just kind of like bows it a little bit and is like, "We appreciate your hospitality in this dangerous time." In perfect Dwarvish, by the way.
Drow or drow, I don't really mind if she did trick. It's her people on the line.
Yeah. And the dwarf warden is just like completely taken aback by this like perfect pronunciation of every single word that exits her lips. He's just like, I guess, like.
And then the dwarf captain can't speak a lick of Undercommon, I bet.
How did you even get in here? And
I give the paper.
You give him the paper, okay. So he looks at the paper. He's like, blinks in disbelief a couple times. He's like, "Captain Ironbeard let you in?"
Oh, trust
and
me,
he's just
we
like,
have good reasoning.
"All right, I guess I will accept this as note." And he snaps his fingers to one of the guards near here, and he's like, "Please have this posted in every garrison and barracks in the city to make sure our dwarven compatriots are treated with respect." And the soldier just like snaps to a little salute, and then he takes the paper and runs up.
So we approached you in order to do some diplomatic talks. And if you would kindly lead us to your representatives or leaders, we would be very grateful.
Would you kindly, he says.
I like that little nuance there. So he just kind of like rubs his like brow of his nose. He's like, "Well, I got some good news and some bad news. I know exactly who you need to talk to, but he's missing." He went out.
Your pardon.
He went out with the regiment. The person in charge right now is, well, technically me. At least I'm in charge of the civilian populace. Ironbeard's the one in charge of the remainder of the garrison that didn't go out to fight those undead scourge.
Ripsam, humor me and give a description of the dwarf you found on the ground.
The dwarf
It wasn't a dwarf, it was a drow on the ground in the city, if that's what you're referring to.
That's right. I keep forgetting because of the...
Yeah, the picture. Yeah, I got you. It's the best I could find, okay? It's free assets.
All right.
I'm poor.
Alright, so I suppose you two are the, how should I put it, leaders of this garrison and fortress, to say.
And he just kind of like solemnly takes a nod. He's like, "Yeah, until somebody comes over and takes, charge," which I don't know if that's going to happen right now, really.
Alright,
I doubt
so
it would.
can you please call the garrison commander here? There are some stuff that are urgent to be talked about. And I mean right now, at this very moment.
I mean, all right, I guess. So he just kind of like sends out another guard, and we'll say a few minutes pass, and Captain Ironbeard shows up again with his fancy little armor. He's like, "You summoned me?"
Yes, sir. Alright. I suppose the two of you are the what is called the people that lead this place. Am I correct?
So he just kind of like nods. Is like, "That's correct. I am currently in charge of the garrison here, and until my replacement gets here, I will be in charge of it until I die."
Alright, so may we enter inside so we can have a private talk, all of us here present. You two and my followers. I mean, my friends.
So he just kind of like nods to you and is like, all right, right this way. And he leads you guys to the garrison.
Okay, as we enter inside, I suppose nobody left is there, apart the what 5 of us more, 7, 6.
Yeah, pretty much. All of you are in there. Alwyn, the 2 Morgax, the 2 Aus, Hifsam. It's getting to be a bit of a tight squeeze. The Morgax are just like, you know what? I think we're just gonna stay outside. All this politics stuff hurts our brains, and they just kind of like,
That they need to have a long discussion about Peacebringer.
yeah, it's like I
And
think I need to catch up with this guy here to figure out how it happened. And he just kind of like eyes up, Peacebringer Morgag up and down, and like him covered in like all these like leaves and twigs, and he's like, it's gonna be a long day. He just exits. So before the captain gets started, he points towards Bob and goes like, by the way, where'd you find that thing?
Well, we found him along the way, but that's a long story and really not necessary here. So,
I beg to differ. Let me show you something. And he goes into a trunk off to the corner, and he unlocks it, and he rummages through it until he gets to the bottom of it, and he takes out a small journal, it looks like. And it's covered in dust, so he kind of just blows it off, cracks it open, and he starts rummaging through it. It's like, this journal is from my great uncle. Also goes
Yes.
by the last name Ironbeard. He left Kygaram many years
Also-
ago.
Cough, cough. That one book that we have, the sentient book, Ironbeard.
ooh,
And Alwyn's eyes just go like, oh shit, yes. And she kind of like rummages through. He's like, come on now, dear. It's okay.
Oust gives her a very weird look.
It's all right. Just fine. Just worry. And the book just kind of like coos a little, and she's like holding it gingerly with her 2 hands. It's like, we found this wrapped in a chest, wrapped in chains, in a ruined temple. And she kind of like
Supposedly.
shows off the front, and it says like the initials of like Ironbeard on it. And you see this guy's eyes widen. He's like, that's my great uncle's spell book. What? It's alive? And he just kind of like goes to try and touch it, and the book flaps onto like Owen's shoulders onto her back and avoids him completely. He's like, well, that's fascinating. Would you mind if I get one of my friends to maybe take a look at it? And Owen is just like, it might try to kill you. We're not sure what it does.
yes, well, certainly, but I think we have more urgent matters to attend, if you not mind.
That's fair. You know what? I'll get one of my boys from the Rune Guild to take a look at them. If you would mind, lady, maybe following one of my guards, he'll escort you. And she's like, all right. So Owen leaves with the book and one of the guards to talk to maybe one of the Rudenheim about that thing. Anyway, you guys can continue on with your conversation.
So Hrivsam basically walks away from them and conjures a silent image and says, well, I'm going to say that we're more or less most certainly going to die here. And with silent image, he creates what he saw.
Do you have that one
Entire army.
Do you have that one warlock thing for silent images?
Yeah, I have it for free.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you basically show him a silent image of the carnage that you guys saw in that big cavern before you made your way over.
Yeah, and
with all the undead.
town. And he continues, so as you can see clearly, the army of enormous proportions are marching towards this town, and if we don't stand here now, I can guarantee that this world is done for, because this army needs to be stopped. And judging by the current situation, I think both you and Drows are not really allied. Well, that thing has to change right now, because this is more or less the last stand, and if we don't succeed in defending this place, we're all doomed. Now and forever. Our enemy is Dagon of War. Aust here can explain a bit more about him. He knows much more than we do. And I'm afraid that even if we manage to do something in this battle, we may not win. However, we must try all our best to do so. So I kindly ask you to, how should I put it, to relinquish your temporary control of this place and put it in the council of us, so we can decide what is the best action.
So he takes in all this information that you gave him, and he's like, we do have a standing army, but compared to the size of this, we're going to need to prepare for a complete onslaught. We have to hold Kegrim. As you noticed, there is a lot of refuse and garbage around here. The reason for that is we have sealed the rear gate, or the main gate, into Kegrim. We cannot open it. There's too many eldritch horrors out there for us to contend with. So right now, we're between a rock and a hard place, my friend. If we don't hold here, we're all dead.
I completely agree with you. Therefore, we need to plan that every able-bodied person, and well, not able-bodied, everybody who can contribute at least a tiny bit, has to be able and ready to do what must be done. Certainly, these are not the trained professionals that we have in the city right now, but we must use every single resource available with no. I can't really. We cannot hold any punch.
So he says, like, the mine entrances are still open. That is what our backup is. The downside to that is the rear gate is set to those mine entrances. So if the undead are going to be coming, they're either going to be using the rear gate, or they're going to be digging their way through the mine shafts. And if they do, we are going to be surrounded by undead. We have no way of holding them at the walls if that happens. We must collapse those mine entrances before they get here.
That would be, well, the wisest possible choice as of now. It is up to you to do whatever you think it is. However, we need to start preparing right now. I think we might be even now late.
So he says to you that he's already set the charges. His men have done so already. The only reason why they haven't blown them yet is because they're still evacuating people from the deep mines to get them inside the city before they blow all the mine shafts. He doesn't want to trap more people down there.
Alright, I recommend that we let inside everybody who is in front of the gates, of course with surveillance of if there is any person that has any malleable features on themselves, like any eldritch disease or anything. And yes, we should then start preparing as the best as we can. We need to start rationing food, preparing people for the worst, and well, we then wait.
I would agree with you. So he suggests that he can get a handful of dwarven soldiers, some of his veterans, to train civilians that have just arrived, bring them up to like at least some sort of fighting strength. He has been talking with Gunther, and he has also informed him that a hopefully significantly large group of Valorian guardsmen are on their way to reinforce. He noticed that some of the commoners are from as far away as Arethel, and they are also fighting fit. There's a couple of wizards that have arrived as well, specifically one riding a very large fire bear is the best he can put it.
We know him.
And he's just like, yeah, he kind of mentioned you guys when he came in. That's how they let him through. And he hasn't heard much about like the swamp areas, what's happening with that. No orcs have showed up, but it seems like they're in a civil war right now, along with majority of the human kingdom. They have lost complete contact with basically Adnal, because they are also supposedly in a civil war. All four kingdoms have broken apart, so there's no chance of them sending any help whatsoever. So it looks like the elves and dwarves are on their own for the moment.
Well, then we need to do what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we'll need to prepare for militia tactics for defense, and well, for now, I thank you for this reception. My friend can tell you anything else that you might need to know. I would kindly ask to go and have a short rest, at least, to recover from the journey.
So he says that currently the inn is at capacity, but you're more than welcome to set up in the refugee camp that they have.
Yeah, we'll find somewhere place to sleep.
Yeah. Okay. With that, I will go back to Perrin. So Perrin, you notice that things are escalating. One of the dwarves actually managed to squeeze past Gunther as he's holding off the other two, and that dwarf is starting to make a scene at the front of the bar with the male drow soldier, and his buddy, the drow soldier's buddy, is flanking him, and they're getting into an argument. He's speaking in broken common. The dwarf is yelling in dwarvish, and it doesn't seem like anybody's getting anywhere with this, and things are getting pretty heated. Gunther's managed to hold off the other two, though.
I'm moving closer to Gunther, and I'm like, I think we need to get out of here and wait for reinforcements.
And Gunther says, like, I can't let these people hurt these drow. Even though they're evil, they deserve rest and relaxation here. Maybe you go and find your friends and bring them back here before things escalate too much. I'll stay here and try and keep the peace.
All right, I take his advice. I said I'll be back as soon as I can, and I shoot off to where I knew they were going, and hopefully I can find them.
Okay. So Austin Hifsam, I'm assuming you're done speaking with the captain?
Well, we still need to get that situation with the drow civilians squared away.
Yeah, so the captain has dispatched his soldier and to the barracks, and he's instructed the rest of his men to spread the word about the current situation with the drow, that they are not to be harmed, and they're to be left alone and treated as the rest of the refugees that they've accepted so far.
Okay.
So
good.
they're in process of spreading that across the city at the moment. That could take some time, but they're doing that.
And I said I go with a full run.
Okay. So Austin Hifsam, I'll say also the Morgax, notice Perrin making a beeline towards you as quickly as you can.
Raised eyebrow.
Yeah.
They're getting ready to kill drows in the bar.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Kind of
Austin jumps onto his horse and goes over.
Okay.
Morgak, I think you would enjoy some tavern brawl, right?
Oh, yeah. He just kind of like crunches his fists. Peacebringer goes like, hold on, what did we say? Fine.
Oh no, he's his own therapist. They always said this would end poorly.
Wait, you managed to convince him to not be violent. How?
Use words, not fists. I hate this idea.
And with that, he turns into a wizard to cast Fireball.
Yeah, those are some orcish esoterics. I won't meddle into that.
All right, so we'll say you guys make it to the bar. Gunther's got these two dwarves now by the scruff of their necks trying to make it past him. And you notice that the other dwarf at the bar with the missing eye is shoving one of the drow soldiers into the bar. And it looks like the other drow guy has his hand on the hilt of his sword ready to pull it. Everyone else is just kind of like taking like a wide berth from this group completely, waiting for shit to fly.
I suggest
Somebody
you
just got
put
a
down your arms. Sir Oust repeats this in both Dwarvish and Undercommon. And of course, the Drow Queen is probably still with us unless she went
Yeah.
off to speak to her civilians. I don't know what she did.
I'll say that she stayed with you, and she tells her men as well as the family to leave before things escalate. And
Good deal.
both the drow soldiers sheath their weapons. They were like halfway out, but they sheath their weapons and then just quickly nod to their matriarch and then start to leave. The dwarf at the bar grabs the arm of the soldier and spins him around and takes a swing at his face. And by face, I mean probably lower chin, because he can't reach that high.
Oh boy. We're doing this? I don't think I want to do this. I think I want everyone to make a wisdom save.
It's up to you.
No, I want everyone to make a wisdom save.
Okay. Just to save
We
time,
interrupt the channel.
I'm going to like not include the civilians because they're not involved in this, but I'll just do like a wisdom save for the couple dwarves who would most likely be involved in this. Oh, nat
Alright.
20.
And how is the alcohol affecting them, though?
Very little right now. They
Because,
seem to have...
if they're inebriated enough for this, they're probably under the poison status effect.
I would say the one that rolled a 9 definitely is, but the other two are very well off. One rolled a nat 20, and the other one rolled a 20.
I'm just saying, if they're poisoned, they'd have disadvantage.
Yeah, like, the third one that Gunther has by the scruff of the neck, like, one of them is just, like, slurring his words a lot and barely making any swings at him. The other two are fine. They don't have poison effect on them at all.
Well, the other guy's frightened.
Okay, so as soon as you cast that, the guy who's slurring his words, his eyes just whiten, turn to you, Oust, and then...
Sir Oust,
Sir Oust,
who
I
just
should say, yeah.
slowly shakes his head.
And the dwarf just, like, puts up his hands, and Gunther sets him down slowly, and he makes a beeline for the door, giving you as wide berth as humanly possible as he runs out the door of the tavern. Kind of stumbling about.
I can trust we won't have any more issues, gentlemen.
Well, unfortunately, the swing goes and connects with the chin of the drow soldier, who takes it, and his eyes begin to glare hot coals towards the dwarf as he reaches back with his fist, and his hand gets grabbed by his matriarch, and she stares at him for just half a second, and he's like, fuck, okay, yeah, no.
That intimidation is still going through, though, as Oust gives the other dwarves a death glare of death glares. The shit, 29?
I will roll 2 d20s and give them the same abilities as they... Oh! Critical fail! So the one closest to you, the one with the missing eye, he's like, okay, fine, it's fine. And he just kind of like gives a look to his friend who's like not as intimidated, but is kind of like half on the fence. But the sheer fear in his buddy's eyes, he's just like, okay, fine. We're done. We'll leave. And they immediately like...
Oh, no. I don't think it's just about you leaving. I think someone needs an apology now.
So the dwarf with the critical fail, he apologizes profusely and eyes his friend in like a death glare, and his friend is like just stammers out a sorry, like we won't do it again. It's fine. Like we'll leave. We'll leave him alone.
Good.
Yeah.
Now make your way, and don't bother any other drow.
And they just like
You
quickly
won't appreciate the consequences.
they quickly nod and exit, and then the bard just like, okay, time for happy music again. And the music resumes, and everyone's just like, okay, that was stressful.
I think the shit stir should be buying the first round.
And Oust just lets out a small sigh and says, "Sorry about that."
So Peacebringer Morgat goes up to Sir House. It's like, see? Quick learner. Gives you a really hearty pat on the back and looks at the other Morgat because, like, he know words better.
And Sir Oust stumbles forward a little bit under the force of the blow, but doesn't really say much. He's kind of used to this.
Yeah.
Well, you
So
alright,
just
by the way? Turns towards the drow that got punched in the face.
He just says in broken common, yes, many thanks.
He's speaking in undercommon.
Oh, you are? Okay. Oh, so he's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, he says, yes, many thanks to you. He kind of, like, sheepishly looks at his matriarch and speaks to her in undercommon, saying his family is very hungry. And she's like, hands him the food that the drow, or that the dwarves left behind, not hardly ever eaten, and says, hands him the place. It's like, give these to your family and anybody else who's hungry. And he just kind of, like, nods and then walks off out the bar. And she turns to you, Sir Oust, and she says, thank you for your assistance. I must be with my people now. And she also exits the tavern.
We'll keep in touch.
Hmm.
Well,
So previous mentors. Oh, I saw some people running away.
could have gone worse, could have gone better. Sir Oust shrugs.
Oh well, at least there is no blood here. I saw it enough today.
You see Bob kind of like eye a mug of liquid, and he like brings it up to his face, and his jaw dislocates almost in a terrifying way, and he just like dumps the whole mug down his gullet. And you see like the plastic tubing just kind of like take all the liquid into the center of his chest, and you hear like a whir of gears as it like processes.
Content. 17% alcohol.
It's basically like, yeah, it's like, contents, wheat, barley, fermentation techniques, alcoholic content, 25%.
Okay.
Processing.
That's some advanced technology.
That's not some light stuff that they're having.
Not quite, no.
Well, at least he survived.
Yeah.
Alright, so since we managed to convince those people to start preparations, what do we do now? I mean, I'm not very skilled in warfare preparations.
Well, I think a few people need to have a rest. I'm personally fine myself, so I'll see what I can do about mobilizing a few of the civilians, teaching them a thing or two.
Yeah,
Probably
I
see
should
if they
probably
can get a
contact
handle
Lota.
on spears or two.
Yeah.
Store goes to regular Oust, I would say.
Alright.
And he asks if he's been to the Felvin Shrine lately.
Sir Oust twitches even as he says that, but doesn't comment. Oust,
Nope.
on the other hand, says, yes,
Okay.
I have. There was a priest there, some tiefling fellow. Tiefling?
Yeah. So he says, like, ah, he's still there, is he? I guess me and you should pay him a visit. He can help us with our issues that we're having.
Right. Let's head out then.
All right. So he gives you like a little pat on the back and puts his arm around you. Do you resist?
It is very grudgingly accepted after a few seconds.
Okay. And Janine just kind of like starts doing her own thing in the corner. She's talking to the bard while putting back shots after shot after shot.
Well, at least she's not seducing paladins.
For a change.
She doesn't seem to have any interest in paladins. They're too hoity-toity goody two-shoes for her.
I mean, ignoring the fact that one just brutally intimidated and one of the dwarves into nearly shitting themselves. Yes. Sure, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Well, Sir Oust is going to go and see what he can do about teaching the civilians a few things, informing them on their situation and what's happening, because I don't think they have any kind of depth of what's happening.
Fair.
Aside from, we have been removed from our home because of an undead horde.
I would be careful how you breach that delicate subject. You might cause panic amongst the civilians.
Oh yeah, I know. I mean, he's been through this series of events before.
Mm-hmm.
Not exactly the same, but pretty similar.
Same, but different. But still same.
And what are you up to, Perrin?
I'm hanging out with my original contact and having a drink or two.
Okay, sounds good.
See if I can get a friendly female for the evening.
Okay. You notice that there's a few female elves that catch your eye. Alwyn also enters the tavern and
Oh dear.
notices that Janine has taken an interest in Gunther. She's kind of chatting him up a little bit as
God.
Perrin is looking for his own companionship.
Oh, there can only be one.
And she's kind of like rubbing his like biceps a little, and she's kind of like taking her finger lightly and putting it up and down and being all flirtatious with him. Alwyn's eyes immediately narrow at this.
She is possessive.
I call her over and offer to get her a drink.
Ah,
Okay.
yes. A secret to Alwyn's heart indeed. Well, her
She-
Hey Gunter,
She
I heard that you
welcomes
being
that drink.
bitch our... Oh.
What?
What's that?
Okay, nothing. Sorry.
What'd you say?
What?
He said like.
You're talking is like right in front of Janine. Yeah, wise
Yeah.
choice. So she immediately gives you like stares, daggers at you, Hibsam.
Yeah,
do
he
you-
sees that and gets a step back.
yeah.
And then a diabolic idea falls into his mind. He mentally contacts Sawan. She's taking your boyfriend. And he turns to Oust. Now watch the hilarity.
So, Alwyn accepts the drink that you offer Perrin, but she's definitely keeping a side glance on Gunther and Janine over in the corner.
I just try to keep her calm down and
You know, for her saying it was just a fling, she is oddly possessive.
I mean, he is her type.
you know something? I feel like being a little devious. Who's drunk and got a big gold pouch on him?
Oh, well, who will say no to a little bit more coin?
Because my mate is invisible.
Perception, then. Probably. I think
Yep.
he's trying to spot the biggest gold pouch in the room on a drunk person.
Okay.
Perception.
Probably more gag.
You need a lot more to get that orc drunk.
So 12. I'm gonna say that you don't really notice like anybody of extreme wealth, but you do notice that there seems to be a card game in the corner with a couple of humans and dwarves, and there is a significant pile in the middle of gold coins as well as other jewels and gems that people have thrown into the pot.
It shines so pretty. The coins go cling clang.
They go clickety clack. Oh, wait, no, that's dice.
The dice goblin revealed. I knew it.
I'll open up character with my sleight of hand. I got a plus 13 on that.
And with your mage hand, your invisible mage hand,
Send the invisible mage hand on over there.
and slowly just start stealing coins.
Yup.
By coin.
I look for a nice big healthy diamond or sapphire or something.
Okay.
Are there any gems in the stack?
Yeah, there's cubic zirconians, maybe some rubies, and a handful of like even small gold nuggets, unrefined because this is a mining town.
Dwarf. Yep.
All right, so it's my dexterity sleight of hand check can test the creature's perception check.
Okay. So you currently have about 4 people with eyes on the center of that table, off and on, while they're playing the game.
So I just watch and wait for the best moment to do something sneaky.
Okay.
Like when the barmaid's bringing around or something, or...
Okay, yeah, we'll say like a minute or two passes by and a barmaid starts taking some more drink orders from them, and she's getting them one at a time from the guys. So now would be probably a good time to try out your...
And I send the weasel in to start, like, dancing around their feet.
Sure, as a distraction.
Distraction, yep.
All right, so I will roll a perception, just a flat
So you have to
d20.
go against my sleight of hand roll for their perception.
Okay, that's fine.
Can I get advantage on that with the weasel messing with them, or no?
Probably cancels out the disadvantage.
It will cancel out the disadvantage. They're just going to roll a d20 with a small modifier and then compare it to your sleight of hand. So you do your sleight of hand first. Oh, yeah.
Hey!
The likelihood of them beating this is very, very slim. Yeah, they don't notice at all. So based on a sleight of hand of 28, I'm going to say that you managed to procure, or I would say roll, a couple of rubies and a cubic zirconian off the table, in addition to a few gold coins. So we'll say 2 gold nuggets, cubic zirconian, and about 5 gold pieces.
All right, so I got 2 QZs, gold nuggets, and what was the last thing?
About 5 gold pieces.
Okay. All right. I just keep looking, scanning the bar for anything that may look like it could want to go home with me.
Okay. I'm gonna say that the barmaid's looking pretty good right now. She's handing out drinks. She's kind of got her eye on you a few times, and you notice that when she handed you your bowl of mixed nuts, her hand purposely brushed your arm a little bit.
Mm.
There you go. So
Oh, these rogues.
while I'm
Tough.
chatting her up, I'm still scoping the rest of the room out to see if there's anything else I could easily lift.
Okay.
The science study that all the rogues share the similar or the same personality traits.
More or
Yes,
less.
it is 3 for 3 on rogues eyeing people for
Either shagging or shagging.
shagging or shanking. That is
Um,
their 2 mindsets.
Just for funsies, it's a shame Alwyn's not here because I wish she could roleplay this, but I'm just going to do this for funsies. She's going to get into a contest with Janine to see who takes Gunther home with them.
I take out the bell of taco and start ringing really hard and say, "We don't have popcorns, but we're gonna eat something and watch."
Okay. So as you ring the bell, how many times do you ring it?
At least 5.
5 times? Okay, so you ring it 4 times and it spawns 4 more tacos. On the 5th ring, it no longer is spawning any more food. So it looks like it's run out of charges.
Are these the exact same tacos each time, or are they different?
Identical. Like, you can't tell the difference between one or the other. Every single lettuce piece, every single piece of avocado and cheese are in the exact same identical place. It's unnerving, to say the least.
You know, I just realized it's
Maybe for you.
extremely beneficial for high-level paladins to be bartenders. They can boost the constitution of every single one of the people in their bar for their con saves, so people just are able to drink more without getting drunk.
Mhm.
Alright.
So there has to be a order of paladins that is
So Janine doesn't...
strictly focused on that.
Janine does not use sort of persuasion. She decides to use her performance ability to get his attention, and I'm giving her a significant roll on that.
Is that
She
right?
gets a 30.
Oh,
So
plus 12.
so you see Alwyn like aggressively flirting with Gunther, but you see Janine touching and rubbing all the seemingly right spots of Gunther to kind of distract him enough for him to kind of like side Janine as she's like biting her lip a little as she does those little moves. Oh, this is perfect!
Cass's theme. All right.
Oh God.
Oh my god,
Unexpected.
I did not plan this at all, but I love it. Romance is in the air, my friends. Ah, mais oui.
I have a diabolic idea. I want to summon. Yeah, I want to summon Lothar to even make the situation more complicated.
Okay, so what do you... Okay, you want to summon Lothar, but what do you want him to do exactly?
No, actually, I think I don't want to.
Oh, okay.
Because, you know...
So I'm going to say Awen, noticing this distraction, she tries performance as well. I'll give her advantage. She gets a 20 on that. So...
Oh, that's sad. Oust is going to lower the candlelight into more of a mood lighting via his magics.
And the bard catches this and starts playing the romantic music. Oh, that song was too short. I don't know. This isn't bad either. So Janine has the slight upper hand on Awen when it comes to this, and she asks Gunther if he would like to dance, and he accepts, not even begrudgingly, and leaving Awen by herself, completely dejected at the bar, just her staring into her glass, just seething in anger. You placed the bets too early, Hif Sam. It looks like she may have lost this one.
No, I
The
believe
night
in
is still
her.
young, but...
But keep in mind, he knows her feminine wiles. She might have some kind of advantage already.
You notice that Gunther and Janine are getting quite close on the dance floor. Writhing and gyrating like a bunch of horny teenagers.
There has to be a spell for that. Hold on. Spells. Ooh, maybe a silent image on her to look even more ugly than she is. I want to try.
Bad looking, though, considering that performance role.
Next, I want to cast silent image on.
Assuming
Janine.
that her proficiency is like a +4, and she has expertise in it, she's got a charisma +4 as well. I think she's at the same level as Awen.
Sir Oust, Alwyn just kind of looks to you and mumbles, is like, am I losing my touch?
He shrugs. I don't know. Haven't known you enough to know if you have a touch. Nothing against you, but, well.
Well, what if I did this? And she kind of like runs her fingers down the side of your neck. I want
Some falls from the
Just
table.
raising an eyebrow at her.
You
Now,
notice
now.
that she's a little drunk right now. She's kind of looking for some sort of like validation.
Really? Really? You're doing this right now. Alright. You need to do it more like this. And then he made his touch linger a little bit on the side of her neck. Alright?
Like, oh, perfect. And she kind of like shoves you off. And she immediately beelines towards the dance floor where Gunther and Janine are. And she tries to seduce him about the same way Janine is. So now it's kind of like a dance-off at this point. And she uses the technique. And we'll see if he resists that. So I got her thing up here. This is going to be... we'll do performance. Okay. Janine sees the competition, and then she immediately counters that with her own little sultry move. So she got 23. Janine got a 28. Gunther is still distracted. She immediately turns his face towards her, and Janine takes the bottom of Gunther's lip and gives it a little nibble. And then that really just like, okay, I'm paying attention to her now.
I want to use silent image on Janine's face.
Okay.
Oh my god, is Frivstam being a wingman? Is this happening?
Worse.
All right. So what are you silent imaging on her face?
Like she, you know that. Let me a second. Let me Google it. I think it's rabbit lip.
What?
It's a disease. Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. So wait. How would you know this disease?
Just Google this. It
Oh
was
god.
not really
Oh,
common.
why?
I'm
common
gonna
among
throw up,
locals
aren't I?
and-
Oh, it's like cleft lip.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. All right. So you cast a silent image on Janine's face, giving her essentially a cleft lip.
Yeah.
Only issue is that the silent image doesn't move in the background, I don't think. It just is a static image.
No, I think it can move, but it produces no sound. Let me just drop it.
Yeah.
Let me check. Real quick here.
You can make the image move, you can change its location.
Okay, so you're
Okay, you can make its
concentrating on
movement
making it
appear
move.
natural for the image, so it's fine.
All right. All right, I'm going to get you to roll for performance to see if you manage to move this image with the movements that she's making, because they're very sporadic. It's going to be hard for you to tell. So I'm going to say that you have at least a decent angle, but I want you to roll for performance as you're performing this spell. Okay.
You see how Raven let out a caw of disgust? And then Sir Oust just turns to give Frivstam a dirty look. You know, I was enjoying how this was going.
It's getting better. Watch.
So immediately Gunther
Raven
just kind of like
mumbles out a fuck you.
Gunther immediately take a step back, almost stepping on Alwyn's toes while she's like behind him, and his eyes go wide in horror. He's like, something on your face, and she's like, what's it? And she turns to the mirror in the back of the bar, and she sees her face just completely contorted and monstrified, and she just like screams in terror, covering her face, and runs to the bathroom.
Sam dispels it, it falls on the floor, screaming while laughing.
And
After a
then
while, he says, I'm the most evil person on this planet.
and then Owen rolls for her performance once again. And she
She's
stumbles.
not rolling
no,
great.
I think it's because of me. I'm doing it. But she's just like, forget about her. It's fine. Pay attention to me. And she drunkenly kind of like guides a finger down his chest. And he just kind of like shrugs. I guess we can hang out now. So now they're dancing. It doesn't take long before Janine comes back, fuming. Her eyes are just burning with fire, you can tell. And she's got her head darting around, and she immediately focuses on you, Hifsam, points, and it's like, you! And she's like taking some significantly long strides towards you.
Alright, you better roll some good deception, buddy.
Yeah.
We're going to get back to that in a minute, because I want to get back to Perrin here. So Perrin, based off of... I'll get you to do another perception, and see if you notice any more marks to take advantage of. Perrin, you there, bud?
Sorry, I was on mute.
Oh,
Yep.
no problem.
And while I'm looking around, I'm also like using the prestidigitation cantrip to like make little things appear and explosion type crap just to impress the barmaid and flirt with her.
Okay. So as you're just like, look at this, and then you're just kind of keeping a side eye on everything else,
Yep.
you notice that not long ago, there was this wealthy-looking gentleman that walked in with a hefty-sized coin purse attached to his belt. He is very flamboyantly dressed, Like, this man looks to be like one of those fancy merchants. He's got very bright colors in his tunic, like reds and greens and yellows. His hat has like a very large ostrich feather in it as well, his cap. And he's just kind of like, has an air of pompousness around him. He also has come in with two other more burlier gentlemen that look to be possibly his entourage.
Okay.
He makes his way to a table already occupied by a couple of commoners, but his entourage seem to have bullied their way onto that table for him. And they've just sat around and they've ordered a couple drinks from the barmaid, who has now left your side at the moment to go serve them.
Okay. So once they're seated and they start getting their drink going on, I'm going to send the weasel over just to start like doing little tricks and dancing around to see if it's something he's interested in.
Okay. So you send over the ferret, and immediately he takes a complete disliking to these little antics that this thing is. He's like, "Oh, vermin! Be rid of that, will you, Gunther?"
And then I have him disappear very quickly.
So just disappear like in a flash of like the eye.
No, as in like run off.
Run off. Okay. And one of the guards gets up and chases after the ferret. And then the man gets up from his chair and makes his way to the bar where the barmaid is, and immediately files a complaint to advise them that they have an infestation that must be dealt with immediately.
When he's busy being a pompous prick is when I'm going to want to take my opportunity for my sleight of hand.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for sleight of hand. I'm going to say that he is distracted from the barmaid. I won't give him like a huge advantage, but he's going to have some minor perception here. As he's speaking to the barmaid, he does notice his pouch start to be lifted, and he looks down and he catches you basically red-handed with your hand on his pouch. No pun intended. Oh, you're using mage hand? Okay.
Right.
So he notices like his pouch open by itself, we'll say. You didn't have a chance to like get any gold coin from it yet, but the pouch basically he did notice it opened by itself. And he looks
I completely ignore it like I got no idea what's going on and keep playing with the prestidigitation to impress the barmaid.
Okay. Are you continuing with the mage hand, or are you stopping now?
I got to do it in a few minutes. I'm not going to push my luck and get right back in there.
Okay, fair enough.
You missed the power move.
So, yeah, he looks down at his pouch, goes like, "That's odd." And he just, like, pulls it shut again. He's like, looks at it weird, and goes back to the barmaid to bitch about the whole ferret thing. She says that she has no idea what he's talking about, and should probably talk to the owner, who is over there. And she's just very short with him. So, as he starts making his way, he does not notice that his pouch is reopened. We're going to say with that sleight of hand, you managed to grab 10 gold pieces off of his pouch.
Okay.
Yeah. As he makes his way over to the owner. The barmaid is significantly impressed with your little parlor tricks, and she says, "Maybe you could show me something more in my quarters. I get off in an hour."
Oh, that sounds good. They don't call me two fingers running for nothing.
Oh, Jesus. She kind of giggles at that and says like, "All right, handsome, I'll see you later." And then she goes back to her duties.
All right. So now I want to just be a douchebag with the hand. So, like, I want to get, like, a little pile of salt and drop it in somebody's beer.
Yes. Join us in our terrible ways.
Okay, sounds good. We're going to say that there is a half in the bag human man that is also at the bar, just a few seats away. And beside him is that pompous man basically making up a stink with the owner, who is rolling his eyes.
Oh my god. So when the guy's getting ready to drink, I'll have the mage hand tip his cup onto the pompous douchebag.
Ooh.
All right. I guess I don't really need you to roll for that. It's fine. So the human, the other guy just takes like a quick swig, And as he does so, it's like someone hit the bottom of his mug really quickly, and it splashes all over half of his face and onto the pompous guy's tunic, just like down his sleeve and like on the side where his pouch is as well, soaking him about like half of his clothes. He immediately turns to the other guy and is like, "I beg your pardon, you slovenly drunk. I demand this man to be thrown out of here." And the owner is like, "Maybe you should calm down, man. Like, I don't have to deal with this right now. It was an accident. Here, let me just get my barmaid to get you a drink on the house, and you relax a bit."
He
But
wants
this,
to speak
When
to the
all
manager.
that's going on, I'm going to try to get the mage hand to grab the whole bag. And
Okay.
tie it, pull the whole bag off.
because he is distracted, I'm going to give him disadvantage on perception for this. So you go ahead and do your sleight of hand.
Yoink.
I'll get him to roll twice. Yeah, 17 for one. Oh, based off of his roll, he's not getting a nat 20. So yeah, you managed to get like the whole bag off, the whole pouch off, and it slowly makes its way towards you. No one else seems to notice this because everyone else is just having their own conversation, and Alwyn's
Yeah, I
too
would
busy
have it hit the
flirting with
floor
Gunther.
and come in close towards like right underneath the bar sill. The best block viewpoint of it.
Sorry, what?
I would like bring it down towards the floor and then right up against the bar to kind of like get it out of the line of sight.
Oh, okay, yeah. I'm gonna say like nobody notices you like or moving this pouch across towards you. Yeah, they're all distracted.
So when I get it, I'll empty the coins into my pocket. And then I'll take the bag with the mage hand and I want to try to put it onto one of his guards to make it look like his guard stole it.
Oh my god. Okay. So we're gonna say that you get 20 gold pieces. His guards, one of them is at the table, and the other one is approaching him from the rear to see what all the fuss is about, ready to pummel this drunk guy into oblivion for spilling a drink on his boss.
Awesome. So as soon as he gets into like close physical contact with everybody, that's when I'll just have like try to slip the pouch into his pocket or tie it off to him somehow or something.
Okay. So I know Mage Hand can move objects, but I don't know if it can actually do more physical things outside of like tying it on to him. So I would
can pick locks and everything with the damn thing.
Oh, it can. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure.
the
I wasn't
mage-
sure if it was the same as like knock or something like that, or like unseen servant, which is kind of like similar.
You can stow one object the hand is holding in a container, worn or carried by another creature. You can retrieve an object in a container, worn or carried by another creature. You can use thieves' tools to pick locks and disarm traps at range.
Oh, okay, so it can use its fingers for like tactile abilities. Okay, that's good. All right, I'll get you to do another, I guess, sleight of hand, so he doesn't notice that you're doing it. This guard is going to have more perception because he is a slightly more observant individual.
Dear, this one's pushing it. Oh,
Luckily, he did not roll high enough. So we're going to say that you easily tie off this pouch to the guard's side.
Okay. And then when that's it, I'll count the gold later. I'm not even going to bring attention to it.
Okay, cool. So the pompous man is now done arguing with the owner because he's not hearing any more of it. The owner just goes back to his work and starts ignoring him. The pompous man makes his way back to the table, but halfway to his table, he goes and looks down because he notices something is a little lighter. His pouch is missing. He looks around, and he sees one of his guards with a very similar pouch, also covered in drink, empty. And he signals to the other guard and is like, You betrayed me! Henry, take this man away! He's stolen from me. Find the gold that he's taken and punish this man for his indiscretions. And the other guy's making a fuss. He's like, I don't even know where this came from. Like, what are you doing? And then the other guy's like, Come on, let's go. And just like grabs his arm and then takes him out of the bar. Along with the pompous man he leaves with them.
Awesome.
So I'm going to go back to Owen and see how her performance is doing with Gunther. She's going to attempt to flirt with him a little bit more. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to use persuasion because that's as close as flirting as I can think of.
Oh god.
Oh, lordy Jesus. So, Awen has not realized the alcoholic content of the drink that she had partaken in previous. It has hit her like a brick around a lemon. So she is slurring her words. She is coming on way too strong to Gunther. It is not a turn on for him whatsoever. As this is happening, when she's crashing and burning, Janine has made her way to you, Hifsam. How do you explain this situation? Because she knows you had something to do with it.
Okay, so Krivsam is laughing and pointing at her face, but at the moment he sees that she is coming with the murderous intentions, he switches his face in a passive, I call it aggressive defense, like, wait, why are you looking at me? Stop.
So she looks to you and is like, you're the only one annoying enough and diabolically enough to pull some shit like that. I was having a good time for once in my life and you ruined it.
Skip. Of course, I always have to be guilty. You were competing with Tao and go and ask her. I was just laughing at the situation. Can't a person have a little bit of laugh in his life?
Roll for deception.
God.
You have a +8 to it and yet that happens. Oh no.
You see Sir Oust just calmly drinking his ale.
I'm giving her... Let's make this an even fight, shall we? Because I don't actually have stats for her.
+8 versus +8, but she's angry.
She's angry.
So
Angry.
he would have beaten you if she had a +9. Oh boy.
Hifsam, the next thing that you see is a fist coming and connecting with your face. You take...
What's her strength?
She's dexterous more so than strength, so she's not gonna have a really big mean hook, but it's still gonna sting. 6 bludgeoning damage to your face.
Ooh.
Does he fly away?
You don't fly away, but you kind of like stagger back a little bit. She hit you square in the nose, so you think something might be a little bent.
How? He's lying there.
Another low whistle from the paladin. It's like, and Morgat goes to Peacebringer. It's like, see? He used words that didn't work. And Peacebringer just shakes his head. He's like, not the same. You know what? Never mind.
Now. Janine, you can calm down. Look at Alwyn. She isn't doing great right now. You can easily get back what he tried to take from you.
That's not the point.
There really isn't time to waste. You can torture him later, but right now you should go enjoy yourself. All right?
Or,
Heaven knows that we won't have enough time for that later.
She just kind of gives like a begrudging nod, looks down at you, Hifsam, and is like, I'll deal with you again later. And makes her way over to Gunther, who is more than happy to get away from Awen at this point, because she's like, yes, you get a cure spirit, and I can't believe that you're still alive after all this time. I'm so happy. And
I helped Friff set him up into his seat. Alright, you're gonna have to hold still, okay? This is gonna hurt.
He's speaking in tongues.
No, hold still. And pops the nose back into the proper position.
He screams like a swine on the slaughter.
Alright, that might help you breathe a little bit easier.
Mamma mia.
Yeah, I know. Shoves a mug into his hand.
Grazie.
At this time, Awen slowly makes her way to the table with the rest of the group and just slams her head onto the table and just starts snoring loudly.
Crimson pulls out 2 coins. One gives to the bartender and the other one to the oust. You won the bet.
I suppose I did.
And
He takes
Janine,
the coin.
you notice Janine
Now
make her
have
way
46 gold.
up the stairs with Gunther to his quarters.
Well, congratulations to her.
That bitch is going to pay.
Maybe you shouldn't have turned her face into what is comparable to the Phantom of the Opera.
I don't know why they're all so thirsty. I mean,
I have
really,
some problems. There's
you're
no
not gonna,
regret.
you're not gonna hear any denial from me. I mean, one female rogue decides to punch you in the face, and the other one would electrocute you to death. Well, if this all one is the same way, I've only spent what, like a week with you guys in regards to her.
He looks at Owen with pale face and moves a step back. She's going to
It's
blame
fine.
me, isn't she?
She's unconscious. Besides, you actually tried to help her there.
Like she knows.
Yeah, but you can still hold it over her head.
Ah, she'll ignore me. In the very best scenario.
Fair enough. Sir House starts playing with the fire and one of the candles, making it go whoosh and whoosh. He also changes it from mood lighting back to standard tavern lights.
As you do that, a couple of the patrons are taking notice of like the random lighting issues, and they're just like, what's going on? A little confused.
Fire spells out the words, "That's all, folks," and then fades away.
Some people look visibly disturbed. The others stare into their drink and push them away, as if they've had more than enough for the night, and they start slowly paying their tabs and making their way out of the tavern.
Well, that was a thing.
Yeah.
Able to breathe all right, Rev Sam?
It's better now. It still hurts, but it's better.
A loud
Yeah.
burp comes from Alwyn's mouth as she continues to snore.
Are you carrying her? I'm not well, actually, you're definitely not going to be carrying her.
I can try.
Do
Ced-
you want
Cedric-
to, though?
Cedric puts up his hand and is like, I have not been imbibing in any of the alcoholic drinks. I will assist.
Careful, she's carrying a lot of gear.
It should be fine. And Cedric kind of like slowly gets her up, and Bob kind of helps a bit too. It's like, these fleshlings are very weakened to this type of drink. I must analyze further.
Yeah, some of us are, some of us aren't. Glug, glug, glug.
And with that, it looks like the pub is starting to close its doors, and all the patrons are leaving to go to their quarters and sleep things off. Perrin, the barmaid, has changed out of her outfit into something a little more form-fitting, as you've noticed.
Oh, how risque.
She's covered completely, but it's a tight leather pair of pants and a very form-fitting corset that she's wearing right now.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm. And she kind of like holds out her arm in a hook. Sort of like beckoning you to like hold on to it, I guess.
Yep, I
Yeah.
take her arm and lead her away.
And
You
she,
enjoy yourself, Oust calls out.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. So who remained in the bar?
So I'm saying Cedric and Bob took Awen out to get her situated. So it's just the double Morgax, the double Ousts, and the Hivsam.
So I suppose the oust, the normal oust, well, is separated a bit from the others, right?
Yeah, he's probably with his dad talking about the pyromancy thing.
Yeah, they're at the temple speaking.
Could have
with
sworn they
the,
actually left.
tiefling.
They
Oh
left
yeah,
to
sorry,
the
I
temple.
forgot. Yeah, they did leave. So it's just like Sir Oust, Hivsam, and the two Morgax.
Yep, he's letting himself have a little bit of relaxation before getting back into the war games.
Yeah, about that. So Crimson buys another drink and says, "So, I suppose you're expert on these kind of situations. What do you think?"
What do I think of what in particular?
Well, in
There's
this,
a lot going on.
well, not the tavern situation. I'm asking about the war.
I was kind of hoping you'd ask if you had a chance with Janine, because that would have been funny.
So what do
You
you
think
oh my
she
God,
likes
you're
me?
a student at Rick? Well, to be totally honest, no matter what we do in regards to the army, or even if we have the potential for fighting it back, Sir Oust glances around and thinks that it's clear enough that he can just speak freely. This city is eventually going to fall. That's pretty much inevitable at this point, and the only possible way that could be subverted is if we found the Lich's phylactery, and well,
That's how you pronounce
unless
it.
you have any
Phylactery.
leads
Oh, okay.
there,
Write that down.
unless you happen to have any leads there, well, SOL.
Yeah.
No,
It reminds me of a story similar to this one. It's like the protagonists are in the worst possible scenario and the enemy's army is encroaching them. And the person destroys what is more or less phylactery and everything falls down. It's funny how sometimes stories are a bit closer than you imagine them.
It's just the way of things.
Right. I mean, it's really not possible for the phylactery to be the ring as if it is in the story, but
The ring?
It can
of
be.
course.
It
You must
doesn't
have
really
heard of that
specify
story.
like what it is per se. It could be really anything.
Yeah.
As he was referencing to the story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
And I suppose you have no clues that we don't have.
I personally am not even sure if this is Dagon is the same as my own. Hell, I pray that it isn't. I would manage to go through a ritual that made it so that his spells were. He
So
couldn't run out of a few of them and
when
had.
you
far
guys
more
start talking
prepared.
about the philanthropy, Peacebringer,
Philanthropy.
I'm not even pronouncing it anymore at this point. the thing with the thing, Peacebringer comes up to you, Sir Oust, and whispers in your ears like, "We need to talk about that."
Wait.
And we're gonna leave it at that. Perfect cliffhanger.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just him setting down his mug and turning to him with really surprised look.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking soul.
Yep.
God. Alright, so we're leaving it at that.
Yes.
Unless Morgak
Nice.
happens to pop on.
Probably not within the next 2 minutes, because that's when I usually end this session.
Blast.
I'm gonna try my best to make sure that he actually shows up for this next one, because that's what I've been setting up for the last 3 sessions, and it just hasn't come to fruition. So it's like, okay, we need to get this done, this particular area. So yeah, I want to make sure that he's actually on for this, because it's
Yeah.
kind of important.
I'd like to have some character development and important things. Yeah, please. That'd be great.
But yeah, this was more or less just a thing to set up the impending doom. You guys are literally Zion from the Matrix. It's kind of like what I'm going for here.
Yeah.
You know that they. Okay. They lost and returned a couple of times,
Mm-hmm.
which makes me worried. Are we in the endless loop where we always lose and come back?
I mean, you did realize that when he said, "I've defeated Kagrim a dozen times. Kinda?
Yep, we're in Matrix.
I mean, to be honest, Sir Oust can't really trust the Lich in anything that he says he feels.
Actually, yeah, I wouldn't trust him for anything.
And again, transdimensional space Lich.
Mm-hmm.
Not even gonna call him space Lich, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Glitch. Wonderful.
Yep.
We have an impending doom coming for us.
Lydia's apparently back, but listening to Spotify.
That's fine. She can catch up later. She's going to enjoy the fact that I botched every single persuasion and like performance roll. Hey, if she had shown up, maybe it would have worked for her.
But then again, knowing the Lydia's luck, who knows?
I don't know. She was pretty good, but yeah.
Yeah, but in RP chat every once in a while.
Yeah.
Sorry, Perrin. I think you're muted because I see your mic flashing, but I don't see it like actually saying anything.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can hear you now. Sorry, were you talking like the whole time? We weren't ignoring you. It was just like some weird.
No,
thing.
it was probably picking up my air conditioner cycling.
Oh yeah, that might have been it.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Your character got shit-faced and rejected and decided, well...
She. Yeah.
Gunther decided to go with Janine instead,
And I tried to help you, believe it or
while
not.
she was watching.
Mm-hmm.
Admittedly, Sir Oust didn't help by giving the whole thing mood lighting. He honestly was just amused by the whole scenario.
You're the target next, buddy.
Oh, please. Sir Oust even helped you at one point. Can't be
So
mad at
did
him,
Riv.
can't be mad at Riv Sam.
You're
Nope,
gonna
this
have
one
to.
was
You're gonna have to
all
watch the
on you.
replay and find out what happened.
No, I'm saying you're the target, as in you're the next target.
Wait. Oh. Oh no!
She's gonna kill you.
I think it's more the
God.
seduction kind of thing.
Oh. I kind of hinted at that a little in this. I wasn't sure if I was overstepping, but
No, it was a good amount.
yeah. Yeah, at one point you were just like, "Am I losing my touch?" And Sir Oust was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Well, what if I did this?" And you run your like finger down his neck, and he's just like, "Woo."
After which he then said, no, you need to make your touch linger.
Mhm.
And then you proceeded to take that far too far.
Yeah.
It was a thing. There was also the moment of Oust nearly making a dwarf shit their pants, but that's something else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Many funny moments.
I'm sorry you weren't able to join us, Owen.
Fine. Was at rehearsals. I did some sword training. I'm very tired.
That's fair.
Nice.
Did you win?
Are you winning?
Yeah, I actually got nominated for a fight scene. Well, it's more of a chase. But either way, I'm going to be in a scene. So
Nice.
that's going to be fun.
Fight.
What's your
Yes,
blade of
actually.
choice?
What?
What's your blade of choice?
Short sword?
I have
Long sword?
half hand,
Claymore.
Hand and a half?
hand and a half.
Okay. No, actually, I fenced saber in high school. That's what I was asking.
It's just stage fighting too, so it's not. Well, it's not real.
Gotcha.
What do you mean? You're not actually killing people?
Aw, disappointing.
God.
I will be ending the stream now, guys, but you guys can keep talking. I'm just gonna end it now. But thanks for anyone who joined.
No!
Yes, thanks for anyone who joined, and hopefully you guys join next time. Yes, subscribe to SpectyPants.com. It's gonna be a thing later. But yeah, say goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Watch out for skeletons in your closet.
And